Hey everybody, this is Drew. Just want to let you know we'll be starting momentarily. I'm just getting the last few things set up and everything ready to go. Also, the link posted because, we're live and all. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Drew Reads Shingles / Does a Live Game event. I was getting a weird bit of feedback there. There we go. Got that fixed. Okay, so let's get that back up and running and figured out. Cool. Hey everybody. So I am here to tell you about, of course, the Shingles fundraiser that we are doing. I know y'all will not be shocked that that is a big component of this. We have been working hard to get everything raised up, and so we are really trying to push at the end. Obviously, we're a little short of our overall goal, but we're pretty confident that we're still going to be able to make something happen, so we want to do the most we can with the time we've got. And I am here to read a Shingles book. I asked our Authors and Dragons Discord, which is associated to our Authors and Dragons Patreon, which of my Shingles books they would like, and the overall consensus was actually Action Cadabra, but I don't know, that one just came out, so I thought I would do something a little more classic and appropriate to the movie that we are funding, because in an ideal world, this is one we would like to have in there, and that is, whoop whoop whoop. Gotta get it close enough so my. Okay, no, it's magic. It doesn't exist. Sorry. Slaughter on Giggle Time Mountain is the book. Try and pause it, I guess, as best you can. Whee! There we go. Um, get my water. So, as you all know, we of course are taking donations during this to go toward that. I think we're going to do this one slightly differently. I can't go for as long as Robert Bevan or Rick or Steve, many of our folks have. I fortunately don't have the time this evening. So I've decided to try and make this a little more multi-interactional. Um, Of course, donations are always appreciated, and we will be checking the Shingles fundraiser periodically. But there is also another way that you can spend your money, and in fact, let's get that updated here. Okay, that is the most recent one we have. Perfect. So, in light of knowing that this is an Authors and Dragons based event, and wanting to stick within that framework, I made a game. I made a game for all of us to kind of play in between me reading chapters and stuff. Um, in fact, I made a game board. This is the Thunderpair publishing employee experience. You have been hired and stumbled down into the basement of Thunderpair Publishing, tasked with finding some of Drew's old stuff that has been lost to the ages. There are, in fact, a few actual bits of my content hidden within this game board, stuff that has fallen out of print and is not really available right now. I have had the rights come back to it, so I'm, putting it up as a prize kind of in here, but I thought it would be fun to look for it. And that actually does include some of the superpowered stories. For anybody who's looked for that 10th Class of Legends member unsuccessfully, this is the moment you've been waiting for. So, how I have envisioned this, and we're hopefully going to see, we'll try it for the first round and see how things go. Your options are, as you can see on the game board, you can go up, down, left, or right. No diagonals, just because we're using a square board instead of a hex, and that would overcomplicate things. And also, it overcomplicates things. So, up, down, left, or right, and you can all vote with your donations. So, at the end of a chapter, whichever direction has gotten the most donation votes, basically the most money put upon it, that will be which way we go. Yes, the game board is dark. You can't see very much. You are just an employee, and you are only using your cell phone to see by. There are power-ups hidden within the game board that can increase your light. There are things that can kind of help you see around. So for right now, you should kind of only be able to see a little bit. And as you go, you might be able to uncover more stuff. But I can see the board. Y'all can see. I know there is the little halo of light. And we're going to have possibly some guests join me. I know Rick is around when time will permit, but as y'all know, he has been a very busy gentleman. So that will be popping through as allowed. Let's see. Hey, I give you the little bit of light. If you look close, there's definitely stuff that can be seen right now. I might have spent an aggressive amount of time carefully calculating the exact halo that would allow you to see just enough. But yeah, so there are prizes, there are traps, there are things to look for, and that is the game that we will play in between Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain as we raise money for the Shingles the Movie Fundraiser. And I will put Rick back on as we... Well, actually, I guess I can leave the game board up since we don't have Rick right now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. All right, then I will add the video one back on.
Oh, wait, should I be streaming in the Discord?
No, you don't have to. I know sometimes people liked to do the video on the other one, so I tried to create a setup that would accommodate that. Let's see. We had $5 from Troy Neenan ask, are you going to be bringing out the prisoners the A&D team released, or bring out the bounty hunters on Silas, or shift them back to the cursed item arc? Boy, that sounds all really continuity heavy, so probably none of it. That is just not the A&D way. All right, so we've got Rick set up. We've got the rules of the game explained. Yes, donations can go. We would love them to go through the Indiegogo. There's no way to leave a note, so just screen grab and throw it up in the Discord. We'll kind of check it all at the end. YouTube is also okay. They do take a cut out of it, so but if you can do the Indiegogo, that would be a little more preferable. But we understand the price of convenience, and we are happy to have your donations under any context. All right, I think that has been probably enough setup and vamping. So, as you all decide which direction you would like to go, and I'll just go ahead and give you the game board one more time for anybody who wants to take a look or screen grab or what have you. All right, at the end of this, we'll do both of the prologues. The end of both of the prologues, we'll see where you all want to go first. So, without further ado, Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain. Tabitha screamed as she swung. The pain, fury, and loss of her last few hours all poured into the final strike. As the crackling axe struck, it carved through the bunny-masked man's sternum, cleaving down into the man's chest as he lay rising from the ground. The blow sank entirely through his torso, into the wood of the floor below, pinning his heart in place. For a moment, the killer twitched and spasmed, before finally, mercifully, growing still. The flying sparks from the axe grew fewer and fewer, until Tabitha was left with only the fading glow of her weak flashlight. She stood there, waiting, making sure that Mr. Giggles didn't move so much as a finger. There had been too many fake-outs already. This time, she had to make sure he stayed dead. To her shock, as she shone the light across the body, most of the corpse had already turned to dust. Only the heart showed no signs of deterioration, though it was warped and misshapen, just as the legend said. Footsteps came from the stairs behind her, causing Tabitha to swing her flashlight around, nearly blinding an old man descending the walk, holding a bloody gash on his shoulder. "Repairman Dougal, you're still alive?" "Seems I'm not free of those alimony payments just yet. I managed to duck one of the broken saw blades and save my head, but I had to patch the shoulder before I could move. Old bones can't handle much blood loss." The handyman walked over to Tabitha's side, looking down at the pile of dust, the skull, and the axe. "Was worried I'd be too late, but clearly that's not an issue." She nodded, staring at the dust, as though she didn't trust it not to swirl back to life. "I hate the idea of violence. I just couldn't let him get away with hurting more people. Killing him was the only way." "Take heart, lass. Whatever man this once was, he's been dead for a long time. After tonight, I'll seal this room off and purge it from the maps and records," Dougal assured her. "If we're smart and dedicated, maybe your group can be the last one. The nightmare can end, and at long last this poor soul can finally know peace." A less long time ago. Blood pooled at the base of the chair as Ghoul finished carving up the final victim. Her face was covered by a mask of withered flesh that would have been horrifying, if not for the scene around it making it mere plastic by comparison. 5 bodies, all in various states of dismantlement, were spread throughout the cabin. The bald one who tried to scare them off with a shotgun was last, Ghoul's razors and knives going back into the bag at her side as she left his corpse in the chair. Usually, Jester took the last kill, but sometimes, when prey was especially troublesome, he turned them over to Ghoul at the end. It wasn't that she had a sterner stomach, simply that she was more adept at keeping someone alive for as long as she wanted. The others got excited or impatient. Ghoul didn't let the game end until she was ready. The Reaper could goddamn well wait his turn. Burlap lumbered in from around a corner. He moved with unnerving quiet for a man that size. It seemed like magic, but it was really just the practice of being a big man moving carefully through a small world. Personally, Ghoul also thought it helped that Burlap never talked, not even when he lacked the head-covering sack with a pair of eye-holes. The man lived in silence, both during these times and in the real world, so by Ghoul's thinking, it made sense that silence would have his back. No cops, no lights, no cops in waiting. Looks like this one went clean once again. The voice came from behind Burlap as another man stepped out. His voice was not terrifying or well crafted. It looked like it had come from the discount bin of a Halloween store. Which, in fact, it had. The rubbery werewolf mask was short more than a few hairs, and had lost its paint in several spots. However, it did successfully conceal the owner's face, which was the core requirement of these jobs. Hitting these cabins was a stroke of genius, Wolf continued. Way easier than trying these in places with neighbors. No close calls anymore. A single step echoed from the hall, and every eye turned in that direction. From the shadows emerged a man in a ceramic mask. The covering had a huge red smile, bruised purple cheeks, and flashes of green around the eyes. Aside from that, he looked downright fashionable, clad in a crisp gray suit. The ensemble was high-end and custom-made, just like the mask. One more sign of the dedication Jester brought to his craft. He had been the first of all of them, and deep down, they knew when their end came he would be the last. No close calls, Jester agreed. And yet, no challenge either. Our practice has betrayed us. Our own skills have stolen the joy of the hunt. The others waited, silent. When Jester talked like this, something new was brewing. Something dangerous and exciting. I think, perhaps, it is time we found a fresh horizon, pushed ourselves past the limits of comfort once again. To be alive is to grow. Without new challenges, we're not better than the corpses we leave behind. If you are interested, I have a new lead. Something quite different, and yet in a way, truly classic. Will you follow? Ghoul was the first, by virtue of being the smartest of the three remaining. Well, the smartest that talked. It was hard to know how much Burlap had going on upstairs. She lowered her head, whispering the words she knew by heart. Always. Wolf was only a few seconds behind. He was an excellent follower, if nothing else. Always. Since Burlap didn't speak, his subservience was shown, rather than told. The huge man simply lowered himself to both knees, then bowed before Jester. The pledges drew a nod from Jester, who walked over to the chair where the final body was still cooling. Then sharpen your implements, my beloved disciples. We have a very entertaining destination for our next outing. All right, and that is the end of the first prologue-ishness of it all. All right, if y'all will give me just one moment, I am going to go grab a beer because I forgot to do that before we started, and also we will have to tabulate movement votes and everything. So I will
Well,
be back.
the Indiegogo itself is up by about 130 since you
Oh,
started.
smashed potatoes! I love to hear that. Alrighty, wow, sounds like we definitely have some tabulating to do. I saw Dro Talks Audiobooks asked, how long are we going today? I can pretty much do 7 or 8. My goal is to get through Slaughter on Giggle Time Mountain based on what I've seen of the previous ones. I think that's doable in 4 to 5 hours. That seems like a goal, even with the delays we're going to take for game and everything. So that is my estimation for tonight, and that's also why we're doing a little more during it, as I can't provide the hours, so I'm trying to provide the extras. And boy, I wish I could find my bottle opener.
This is one of those times you just do it the Texas way. Just put in your teeth and just rip it off.
Oh, I did it the Texas way, where I just walked across my room to the bottle opener I have installed on my bookshelf.
Yeah, I guess you could do it that way too.
It's also kind of the Texas way. Okay, so let's see here. Um, Rick, have you kept an eye on anything in terms of where people are voting with their dollars?
Um, Most people who have put dollars in have actually been asking questions. We got
Ah,
one. We got two more from. I think three more questions from Troy. You already answered Dro's question.
there we go. Okay, let's see. Let me find the questions from Troy then, while we are figuring out. Well, I guess we'll just go with the general consensus on this one, since it was all a total of $0. Boy, if somebody had put like $1 on left, they could have run things. Okay. Troy asked, when should a book series end, and when should the main character either die, depower, or retire? So for that one, I have the general belief that a series or a book should always be a reflection of sort of a certain period of time, either in a character or multi-characters' lives. Um, so yeah, I mean, so for example, superpowers, year one, year two, year three, year four. I can discuss the structure of that without touching on spoilers at all. That's very clearly those characters' 4 years of those lives, and it's their journey, and it ends when it does because. In the same way that I think I've said, I could absolutely write another Titan book, and very well might. I love that character; he's a great one. I cannot really envision writing another Corpies because that is the story about a really specific point in that character's life. And to be a sequel, he'd have to be in a comparable situation, and that just feels like I'd have to major league to him, which is like, okay, fuck everything you learned right back down to start. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on series and arcs and stuff. Is it should end when the arc that you're telling ends, like this period, this journey, this point in a person's life, or multiple characters' lives. Someone asked for a review on the votes with dollars. That's a very good idea. We'll have people coming in. So, Rick, sorry you're gonna vanish for a moment here, bud. This is the game board. You are an employee in the Thunder Pair Publishing basement. Yes, you are not supposed to see very much right now. It is a game of uh, every time I am reading a chapter, y'all can be voting on your next movement, up, down, left, right. You can vote by voting directly to the Indiegogo, which I do need to refresh. Thank you for reminding me, Rick. Um, Boop. Oh yeah, there we go. We got some movement there. Um, and then you can. So yes, you can vote right there and take a screenshot of it and throw it into our Discord. If YouTube allows the posting of pictures, that's fine too. Or you can donate directly through the YouTube if that's easier. But basically, you're voting left, right, up, down. I realize right now it doesn't matter much, but as you get more light and kind of more power ups, there'll kind of be a little more discretion. So that's what the voting with dollars thing is whenever I finish the chapter and we tally it up, whatever direction has the most money on it, that is the direction that we will go. So it looks like for this one, collectively, we are going to go ahead and go to the right. So if you will give me just one moment here, I will get to work on that. Okay, so to the right, there is a chest. Congratulations, you have successfully found a chest within the Thunder Pair Publishing basement. Let's go ahead and open that and see what we find.
Scorpions, scorpions, scorpions.
It's not as far as it probably could be. Oh my goodness, it seems you have found some old, unused Drew Tries Stuff snacks. Oh boy. Oh, hang on. I did forget to change one thing on here now that we're actually going. I want to give you all Explorer mode. Okay. There we go. So you do get to kind of see where you've been. And with that found, that triggers Oh, come on. This worked every single time. And oh, that's right. Hang on. I think it's not higher than the game board. There we go. Okay. So that triggers the Wheel of Eats. Uh, it is a wheel that I have to spin to see which thing I am going to try from the collection that I found. Some of these are callbacks to older things. You'll see wine gums on there. Some of these are bits that I got from a few snack boxes that have gone untouched, and some of them are some moonshines that I apparently found in my fridge and forgotten about. So, got a real fun list of options there. I'm gonna hit the spin button. I'm really hoping this works. I've never really successfully gotten it to work in the testings, but in theory, it should spin. It's not spinning, is it?
Hard to say. There's a delay on between us talking and it doing anything. But so far, it's not.
Yeah, it does not look like it's maybe I have to unlock it. Maybe that's the trick. I guess alternatively I can just like stick a hand out and I know there's a way to do a test spin of it that I messed with earlier. Oh god, where's my cursor? Boy, we were having some classic. Oh, hey! I got it.
Come on, mystery fish.
Yeah, that is what it has landed on. Okay, give me a second to remember which of these is mystery fish. Ah, okay. I found it. Um, there's an actual term for these, but I don't recall what it is. But it's the. It's green. It's a fish with, I think, a bubblegum melon flavor soda inside. Oh boy. There is a strong melon scent going on here. It is.
Fuck is that?
Honestly kind of bubblegummy. Let's see if he'll show up. Hey! I tried to mute that so you didn't have to hear too much of the crunching. It's like someone sprayed bubblegum. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That's a gif.
you're.
Yeah, there's a fucking t-shirt for you. Um, but it really it has like a waffle cone flavor consistency slash slash tutti frutti bubblegum. Yeah, it's mystery fish.
I'm with
Honestly, I've
Steve.
had worse. I've definitely had worse.
I'm
That
with
could have
Steve.
gone.
Like, who thought this was a good idea to put stuff in a fish?
Oh, I got. Do you not? Are you on the Tokyo Snack Box thing? I've gotten so many of those fish. Usually they're like chocolate or I don't know something desserty, which I guess is desserty, but yeah, that one in the right mood, I could see enjoying that. Not necessarily what I want to chase a peach beer though. I might have made a strong choice on that one. Okay, so that is how the Wheel of Drew Try stuff works. I will remove the mystery fish as an option so that we don't see it again. Boop, no more mystery fish. And I've figured out how to spin the wheel, so we've tackled that. Let's get rid of that by going back to the game board. All right, so for this one, you only have three options. As you can see, there is a wall above you. So down, right, or you could, in theory, go back the way you came. Left is still on the table. Y'all will be able to vote upon that as I go through the first chapter of Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain. Now that we have finished the prologue, I guess I should make sure. Have we tackled all the questions that people have been kind enough to donate for?
No. Zach and Troy both had.
Oh, yep, I
Well,
see them.
yes.
All right, Zach Markson asks, you have always said you write via checkpoint outlining. How did you arrive at this method? Did you come up with it, or did you learn it somewhere? Oh, boy. I don't want to shortchange anyone, but I can't recall being taught it specifically by anyone. Most of my writing learning has been all trial and error. I do have a degree in English, but oh boy, the amount that does not teach you about writing is a stream for another day. Yeah, it's just the way I have sort of found. I tried more complex outlining and I found it left me stifled. I tried not outlining at all, and I kind of found that I would hit these points where I didn't really know what to do, and things weren't as tight as I wanted them at the end. And so checkpoint outlining was just sort of a happy medium I kind of arrived at bit by bit of finding a version that gave me always a path to follow. At no point do I ever have to say, "Oh shit, what do I do now?" Because it's always okay, right to the next thing, right to the next thing. But within that, the freedom to say, "Oh, I want to spend a chapter dicking around at a convenience store buying a soda with these characters," and that's fine. There's room for that. They're not on some sort of real tight schedule. So that's just sort of been a real fun one. Let's see, I could do a $2 entry for the D1000 Chaos table. Sadly, I don't think we're set up for that many effects on this game board. When am I going to bring it back? When the opportunity comes. It's one you don't want to overexpose, and granted, it has been a while. Could be fun, but let's see. Oh, we had the question, any chance that Ruby's going to show up? And then right below Ruby Wednesday posted. So it looks like she is hanging around. Whether she will join us in the actual chat is up to Ruby. Although she and all of our authors, of course, have a standing invite to come in. And I am being yelled at to refresh the Indiegogo, which I am doing. And we have jumped up by $1,000. Holy crap. Wow. Somebody's really going to get to pick the next move on that one. That is incredible.
Holy
Wow,
shit.
thank y'all so much. Holy hell. That's all right.
My math sucks. I looked at that a few minutes ago and I was like, oh, another $100. That's kind of cool.
I should mention, for anybody who's been following along in the Patreon sneak peeks that I've been doing, um, the Ivan side story that I've been working on. It's not we didn't put this out officially, but if y'all fully fund this thing while I'm sitting here, I will pledge to write that as my next project after I finish Spell Swords and Stealth 5. So that's consider that like a soft goal if we really reach it, but I'll throw every incentive past that finish line I can. All right. I am going to read the next chapter. Y'all can vote left, down, right. I don't know if my hands matched up with what that works out for your view because the mirror's flipping things. All right. Book time. Corey popped open the door of her run-down sedan and winced as she accidentally looked up into the afternoon sun. It hurt, but the relief of stretching her legs was more than enough to compensate for the minor eyeball searing. From the other side of the car, Horace and Bernard piled out, already reaching back for the equipment. They were consummate professionals in how they treated the equipment, even while bickering constantly about what should go where and how to handle what. Coriander Smith? She winced at the sound of her full name, even as she waved to the young man with a clipboard who'd just called it. All things considered, Corey could understand why her mother, growing up with a name like Jane Smith, would decide to give her daughter something more interesting. Corey only wished the woman had perhaps put a bit more thought into the decision. Just Corey is fine, thanks. I'll make a note, the clipboard wielder said, not actually bothering to make any markings on whatever paper the mysterious board concealed. You were here for the web-based promotional outreach team, correct? Maybe? I met with a bunch of people in suits. They all sort of looked the same to me. Corey shrugged, as if to say she didn't feel particularly bad about that admission. Our channel does documentaries on restoration of classic sites, houses, natural wonders, all that stuff. The impression I got is that they wanted a live version of that. Shoot video of changing out the rides, repurposing the buildings, that sort of thing. This time, the man did produce a pen and make a few scribblings, although what they were remained concealed. Well, that's the long-term plan, sure, but for the weekend, we're just looking to get key shots of our people carefully assessing the property and thinking deeply on how to make it great. He paused, looking over the sheet quickly. But you do have full access to the property, excluding places blocked off for safety concerns. Looks like they want you taping a lot of the before footage before the important shots. Come on, I'll take you to your quarters. Thanks, Mr. Corey let the words trail off, making sure to draw attention to the fact that he'd yet to give her so much as a name. Just Ajax is fine. The titles belong to people with power. I'm only an intern. Two figures strode into view from behind the car, both laden down with equipment. The slightly taller of the two stuck out a hand. Pleasure to meet you, Ajax. I'm Horace Miller. Ajax accepted the hand, giving it a well-practiced shake before looking to the other one. Oh, huh? I'm Bernard Miller. Nice to meet you. Bernard took Ajax's already offered hand and gave it a quick pump before returning his attention to the bags. Corey made sure to enjoy the confusion that came next, as Ajax looked at both men, then at his clipboard before glancing at her, clearly looking for help. She was tempted to let him twist, but they were on this shoot for a few days. Ajax or someone like him would probably be their handler, so laying a little diplomatic groundwork at the outset might make the whole process easier. Besides, she had a hunch he was used to taking shit from his bosses, so getting off easy would be a welcome reprieve. No, they aren't related. It's just a coincidence. It came up every time, and not without some cause. On top of sharing the same name, Horace and Bernard had gone to the same college, with the same major, and been in most of the same classes. Hell, they even bickered like siblings. That said, the two men looked substantially different. Bernard was stout and solid, with a wild beard that may or may not have been leaning into the fantasy dwarf style his body defaulted to. Horace, on the other hand, was tall and muscular, with a completely shaven head, from the neck to the scalp. For some reason, the combination of matching name and dissimilar appearance made everyone who wanted to ask the obvious question of relation visibly uncomfortable. I see. Ajax made another note, but he did not look relieved to have the matter done with. Please take Please take everything you need from the car. We'll have to take a shuttle over the old bridge to get into the park, so trips back will be limited. Corey, when you and your team are ready, meet me over at the white van. Not the warmest of invites. However, he did use her preferred name, which Corey chose to take as a positive sign. That was largely by necessity. On projects like this, being an optimist was a survival strategy. When one started to think that things were going wrong, they made bad choices. Corey preferred to keep a positive outlook and a cool head whenever possible. Besides, they were just shooting footage of corporate raiders drooling over their new prize, a formerly abandoned amusement park. Compared to the locations they'd had to sneak into, many of which were structurally unsafe, to say nothing of the wildlife that had moved in, this was going to be easy money. Were Corey a little more practical and a little less positive, she might have recognized that thought as chumming the waters of fate. Instead, she and the others boarded the van, ready to get their first sight of Giggle Time Mountain. All right, I did not think to get a bookmark, so old envelope it is. Let's see here. Let's bring Rick back. All right. Let me get my sip of beer in. Did we have a lot of votes or anything? I should probably refresh the thing
A
first.
lot of people said down, although Tamara put $2 and has a gif of pointing up.
Tamara, are you pointing to your donation, or is that you indicating you would like to go upward? I will let y'all sort that out. I need to take a moment to step away and use the restroom real quick. So I will return momentarily. Um, and here, you can enjoy this way that I absolutely wasted an hour of my life until then.
Looks like we're up another $60 in the Indiegogo. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, pointing at the down comments. Okay. It's a Sunday afternoon, Tamara. Don't make us think. I find myself just staring at this graphic that Drew just put up. There's something disturbingly mesmerizing about it. I know, I'm just giving you a hard time. Can I scream like a rat skeleton fell on my head? You know that was kind of an that was kind of an in the moment sort of thing.
Sounds like an interesting moment. All right, so I see that Tamara has clarified. Very much appreciated. And let's see here. Let me get the game board up. Move Rick down and okay. Ba, 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 ba.
Because Drew only had the one picture of himself. As a matter of fact, that is true. After every A&D con, he comes and collects our like phones and threatens us and basically threatens us with death unless we erase it, all knowledge of him.
I don't want to thrive on my handsomeness. I want to get by on my talent. It's a question of ethics. So I really try to limit the number of images floating around. Also, I've never forgotten the interview. I think it was Stephen King who said like he deeply, deeply regretted his face becoming famous. I was like, all right, I know how that one. All right, so you are all there, and we are gonna move. Nope, that is the wrong thing. I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Boop. We're gonna move down one. And just to be nice, I'm going to adjust the positioning of something slightly. Okay. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Okay. So y'all have moved down one. And let's see what questions we have. Let's see. Troy Neenan asks how much to read one of Bevan's books. Oh boy. I I'd have to be able to pick the book, And I think you'd have to fully fund this. And I mean the 70K one, not the 60. Let's see. What is the biggest what the F moment the party has done to you and your plans? Well, plans already out of the gate. Wrong assumption. I guess if we're going to talk about something that screwed the plans, the first game, the well incident, is truly a good example of just watching, uh, getting a sense of your party, what they're going to do, what they're going to be capable of. And yeah, that was the day I realized I was not going to be doing a whole lot of planning. 'Cause whoo goodness, that was a wake up call to what we were in for. Um, let's see. What else do we have? Go to the YouTube. What is your opinion of a single character having multiple bags of holding? I guess if they can afford it. I don't think there's any limitation on that one. And Mark asks if I still have the beer hat. I'm 99% sure I do. Let's see. Boop. We keep hearing about Joe's awesome reading. Were you there? And if you were, how was it? I was not. We were programmed counter it. So we did not, or I did not get to attend. I was in a thing in another room. Rick, I think you were too.
Yeah, I was. I think I was DMing at the time or something, and
I
Was
was there.
oh was that
okay.
Salty Bastards?
No, no, it wasn't Salty
No.
Bastards. Joe was in Salty
Yeah, Joe
Bastards.
was in Salty
No, no, I
Bastards.
was DMing one of John's one of the fan games.
I cannot remember what I had to do during Joe's.
That
Um,
was the carousel.
Oh,
gotcha.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So we were getting ready for the big announcement that led to this one. Steve Wetherill says, "Get the beer hat." I would have to hunt for it, and I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying it's gonna cost a fair amount of time, and money. Um, so y'all's choices for this one are left and right because you have hit a wall. You can also go up again and return to the chest if you would like, but it's going to be right and left. And it looks like we have a Robert Bevan here with us.
Hello, friends.
Hey, bud, what's up?
Me as of like an hour ago. How are we doing?
Pretty darn good.
Ah, glad to hear it. I see. We've pulled in a bit of money, huh?
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, folks are showing up. It is awesome. And so far, I've had to eat a mystery fish, but we still have
Vod.
so much to go. And in fact, I think I'm going to jump into the next chapter of Slaughter on Giggle Time Mountain. So, for folks who might be jumping in, remember the board game is going as I am reading. You can go left or right, down is a wall, and up is where you came from. So you can go up, but not really in the nature of exploring. Um, and that you all can donate to make your choice done until I finish this chapter. In its prime, Giggletime Mountain was one of the best draws in all of the state. The park theming was originally built around Mr. Giggles, a beloved cartoon rabbit from those old-timey shorts we all know and love. Fun fact, Mr. Giggles' likeness would later be bought and repackaged as Floppy Smokes, the pro-cigarette bunny. Looking out the window, Corey could see the cracked and overgrown roads all leading to the same bridge where they were heading. She knew everything the driver was telling them. That was part of the prep for her shoot. Well, except for the smoking rabbit part. She had to admit this driver had some deep trivia knowledge. Her mind was half listening to the facts, mostly focused on all of the things they had to do and how they should start. Kicking things off well laid the groundwork for success, and she wanted to be sure they did well on this. Internet videos didn't pay the way they used to. This was a stepping stone into working with corporate partners, getting her team some real sponsorship. When she was younger, she'd have called this selling out, but it was a far smaller compromise than giving up on her dream and taking a normal job like her parents had wanted. Too bad for them. Don't name a child after a spice if you don't want them to stand out. That's fascinating. If you don't mind, though, what I'd really like to know is more about the murders. Horace was leaned forward, eyes gleaming as he took in every detail that the driver spoke. Next to him, Bernard snorted. She's not going to tell us about that. Nobody wants to talk about those. No, it's okay. I don't mind giving you folks a proper warning. The driver checked her mirrors as she pulled onto the bridge. It ran from the mainland to Giggle Time Mountain, which was admittedly well named. Surrounded by the river on all sides, it was a spear into the skyline, a natural wonder that had been quickly co-opted for commerce. The river's churning waters below drew Corey's eye. They were beautiful, and deadly if one were to fall in. She loved that combination and regretted that her cameras were all packed. It might have made for a nice opening shot. Once they were past the first of the bridge, where the rough terrain rattled the van and made talking impossible, the driver continued. There's a lot of stories that go around about this place. They say enough people died on this land to fill the river with blood. Not true, by the way. Still, there is no denying that people were killed here. The tales get that right. That and the lightning. It all started with the lightning. Despite herself, Corey felt a slight chill at the words. This woman must have told the story countless times. She'd gotten good at putting the right touches on it. It all started as a simple accident. Storm was blowing in and it caught the wrong end of a tent, sent it flying. The canvas eventually got tangled up in a coaster's wheels, bringing the car to a stop on the track, at the mercy of the arriving storm. This was the 60s, you understand, before we had all the tech and safety features. The man working as Mr. Giggles heroically leapt into action without even taking time to remove his costume head, grabbing a fire axe and climbing onto the tracks to cut them free. He succeeded, you know. People don't talk about that enough, but he did get them free. Unfortunately, no good deed goes unpunished, and the man got hit by 3 lightning strikes simultaneously. No one had ever seen anything like it, but it's also not often we have someone stand on a coaster holding a metal tool in the middle of a storm. And then he killed a bunch of people? Bernard asked, finally showing more interest in the subject matter. The driver eyed Bernard coolly through her mirror. Some say the lightning addled his brain, leaving nothing but the urge to kill. Others believe it wasn't a natural storm at all that blew in that day. Giggle Time Mountain's biggest competitor was a haunted park, rumored to be run by a true practitioner of the dark arts. It was an evil, cursed storm that came to the shores, and that dark magic corrupted the poor man. Whatever you believe, yes, when Mr. Giggles rose from the ground, his oversized pink rabbit head still burned and smoking, people thought it was a miracle. Then he began to swing that horrible axe, and the night was filled with screaming. Corey decided to speed things along. Eventually brought to a close when the police arrived. They said it took a dozen gunshots to slow him down. One of the officers even cut him with his own axe a few times once he was on the ground. Mr. Giggles refused to stay put. They finally subdued him, by which I mean killed him, and the remains were buried. That was until the first copycat arrived. Something in the driver's gaze, a dark sentiment that didn't manage to reach her words, flickered. Many believe that the story of Giggle Time Mountain is one of murderous copycats making a pilgrimage here to kill in Mr. Giggles' name. Others think it's one killer, the same killer, cursed to rise, murder, and die, over and over in an endless cycle. Regardless, eventually the bad press took its toll. Giggle Time Mountain couldn't compete with other parks that had big-name characters and no reputation for guests getting butchered. Population shifted, This area became out of the way, and the gates shut for good. Until gentrification investments found out until gentrification investments found an opportunity just waiting to be claimed, Ajax said. It was the first time he'd piped up since they got in the van. He'd been completely absorbed in his clipboard thus far. Corey was surprised he'd even been listening. The remote locations and existing structures make it perfect. The company will pull away all the sillier theme park elements, build luxury housing, install some docks, add cell towers for proper service, and eventually build this useless hunk into a private resort for the wealthy. Exclusivity is the new popularity, and this place will only be for those who truly belong. Horace leaned forward, sticking his head into the front seat section so he could fix Ajax with a stare. You don't really get the concept of theme parks, do you? They're supposed to be fun for everyone. Then why do they all charge so much at the gates? Ajax countered. Pay to play has always been part of the model. My bosses are just taking it to the next natural evolution. Corey ignored the arguing. Now that the conversation had turned from history, she'd lost even a passing interest. There was work to focus on, and she intended to do it well. The story of Giggletime Mountain was one that deserved to be told. She would give them the nice, pro-restoration footage the company wanted, but she'd also shoot enough to tell the truth about Giggletime Mountain. Once her finances were secure and her platform was bigger. Her only worry was that there wouldn't be enough interesting footage to make something out of. By the next dawn, she would realize how ridiculous of a fear that had truly been. Boop. Alrighty. Oh,
At about $75 coming via the YouTube.
awesome. Let's see how our Shingles Indiegogo is doing. And we are steady on that, but 75 on YouTube is nothing at all to sneeze at. Has that all been for motion votes, or do I need to check on some questions?
Erin Kelly is driving, so she wanted to throw $20 in because she's enjoying listening to you in the background.
Well, I appreciate it. And also, yeah, keep me in the background. Focus on driving. Driving wins.
And Wesley threw in $50 because he had to head out and he wanted to go down. Although people have pointed out that down is a wall.
uh, for $50, I feel like I almost should let you go through the wall.
Yeah, I know.
What's the one of my relatives works in construction and has the favorite saying that you can have anything you want for money.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, what it's like, could I do this? You can do anything for money. All right. So we had $50 to go through the wall. Where did the other votes go?
Most other people are saying go right, and we have a $4.99 from Dro Talks Audiobook saying go right.
Alrighty. So it sounds like right is the general consensus, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we have it's a Steve Wetherill.
Hello. It is. A wild Steve Wetherill has appeared.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Steve.
How's it going? It's
Alright.
looking pretty interesting so far.
Yeah, we have been playing the game, getting donations, having a grand old time.
Yeah, I've been looking at the game mechanics. It's kind of weird. You ate a fish that wasn't a fish. It
Yep.
should not be. I wasn't aware they existed. I didn't know there were bubblegum fish in the world. I feel educated, reluctantly.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and go right, since that was the viable consensus vote. And let's go ahead.
Steve, in England, they just boil the bubblegum flavor right out of that fish.
But for the sake of a $50 donation, uh, even though you were unable to go in the direction you wanted, we're going to say that you spy just a little bit of light peeking out of something nearby.
Ooh. Mystery and intrigue. That's what people come here for.
Mystery and intrigue, and a good time to remind you can't go diagonal. That is one of the mechanics I had set up.
But for
You
enough
are
money,
Basically a
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough, Rick. Fair enough.
$100 to say fuck your rules.
I'm not gonna lie. There is a donation amount that would get you a diagonal. I will not pretend that. Look, this is a fundraiser, man. Boop boop. It's all very upfront.
It's not as if like how much to win doesn't feature in sort of like legitimate sports. So
Oh my goodness. How's y'all Sunday going?
I'm tired. We were doing tried to do an all-nighter with the Bevan reading last night. It was rough, particularly as we'd been drinking for an at the movies beforehand.
Well, there was the drinking during the at the movies, and then there was a full hour of drinking while I failed to set it up properly.
Yeah, trying to do tech support for you while I'm drunk and you're drunker. It's just, I don't know. We should have live streamed that. I think that would have been the opposite of entertainment, maybe. I don't know. But I'm sure somebody would have enjoyed it.
There we go.
The internet.
We had Zach Markson ask, what happens if we donate the $60,000? If we fully fund this thing, I will unlock this whole damn map. I'll eat every fucking thing on this desk. I'll release all the content on the prize wheel, and then I'll commit to writing the Ivan thing next. So, absolutely, there is a total win condition. Let me be very clear. It exists.
You have to read one of Bob's books too.
No, I think I said I needed the 70,000 for that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I will be very upfront. Yeah, you can have it all. You can win both showcases. All right. It is absolutely within your grip. I want to encourage that line of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got 50 grand sort of just lying around, then, you know, have some fun. Live a little.
What? That's like 38, not even 50. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's just not even 50 grand. Gee,
Yeah.
Don't know what your problem is.
I mean, Zach, if you got an extra 50K lying around, you just throw it in that pot. You know, you can pretty much get a fuck you every single week.
You will be the new Vin Diesel. You'll be the silent rule keeper for ad eternium. Oh. All right. I think that is probably a good amount of time for us to go into another chapter. Reminder, you can go right or up or back if you wanted to. You could go left. Diagonal is not technically allowed, but as in real life, rich people can break the rules. So, if you choose to attempt to donate diagonal, I guess we'll see. The four people sitting in an unremarkable minivan were not wearing masks. Strangely, this made several of them feel less like themselves. Over time, those identities had grown larger in their lives, taking over more and more of who they'd been. Nowadays, they only used their actual names around other people. With or without the masks, they knew who they were. An isolated park, surrounded by water on 3 sides and a steep drop on the 4th. Cell service out here is spotty, By the time we're on the other side of the bridge, expect it to fail entirely. We will still rig up some jammers, just to be safe. When dealing with people who have this kind of money, there's no telling what sort of resources they can tap into if word gets out. We're killing rich ones this time? Wolf was poking his head through the narrow space between the front seats, some of his brown, patchy beard being tugged on by the cheap material. This was just one of the many reasons they torched their vehicles after use. Too many casual DNA samples could be left behind. Jester glared down for several seconds before finally deciding to answer. His face, like his mask, was largely featureless, unless he was purposely wearing an emotion. I didn't plan it that way, but when the prey puts itself in such a perfect trap, there's no reason not to spring it. The people attending this assessment are corporate raiders, people who buy up existing businesses to gut or take them over, so naturally they have access to a lot of capital. There are also some insurance assessors who are deciding what the minimum amount of safety repairs they can make are before it gets cheaper to pay out injury claims, and a few local politicians to make sure the project doesn't hit any red tape. The whole event is being couched as a celebration and evaluation, which I assume means lots of rich people indulging in their favorite sins, away from the prying eyes of the public. It's almost like somebody stocked this whole place specifically with the kinds of people who could be casually slaughtered without making an onlooker feel ethically conflicted. Wolf, stop looking into the camera while you talk, Jester snapped. While he'd been giving the explanation, Wolf had taken out the night vision cameras and begun fiddling with the lens. He jerked his head back up, catching Jester's eyes. Sorry, when I'm bored I do equipment checks. Point stands, though. As far as bad habits, admonishing Wolf for checking their supplies was probably counterproductive. There were far worse ways the man could use his nervous energy. Rather than verbally smacking him on the nose yet again, Jester merely continued detailing the plan. Once we've cut all the landlines and jammed the cells, we'll take out the bridge. Given its overall disrepair, I'm sure Burlap can make it look like an accident. And even if he doesn't, by that point they'll be trapped. Hunting unaware prey is fun, but eventually they'll catch on regardless. From the back seat next to Wolf, Burlap gave a silent nod. Heavy lifting and mechanical work, including demolitions, were what gave him a role on the team. If Jester wanted the bridge gone, it would be gone as soon as he gave the order. Should we ready disguises? Ghoul had been sitting patiently, listening to the plan unfold, carefully considering each piece as Jester laid it forth. He never told them the plans until it was almost time to act. Just one more reminder that he was the heart of this operation, while they were merely his tools. To blend in with so many suits, I presume we'll need some ourselves. Jester's smooth face wrinkled suddenly as he smiled at Ghoul, a clear reward for her perception. Close, very close, but not quite. These are the kind of people who would look someone else wearing a suit in the eyes, and we don't want to leave memories. I've procured us some simple sanitation jumpsuits. There's a day crew doing cleanup, although they'll be gone before the night falls. It should provide enough cover to do all the prep work we need, and none of the prey will pay attention to the help unless they're about to trip over them. From his pocket, Jester produced a folded stack of pages. Laying them flat against the dash, he revealed photocopies of very dated blueprints. Once the sanitation staff is kicked out, there will still be an hour or so before we can begin our work. I dug through the park's plans, and they have several old areas that were sealed off, some for safety reasons, some pragmatically, and a few without explanation. I've found one centrally located to hide in while we wait to begin, but you'll each need to memorize them all. When panic sets in, these are what will allow us to escape detection until we're ready to strike again. How long do you think we can keep it up for? Wolf asked. Ideally, until the last one is gone. Imagine what a spectacle it would be. An entire group mysteriously wiped out, and with a convenient local legend to soak up the blame. However, if complications arise, I've prepared an escape method for us. That's all you need to know for now. Turning the van on, Jester drove not toward the bridge, but over behind a cluster of trees where they'd be able to change. As he drove, Jester's face shifted as well. Wrinkles appeared, laugh lines, an expression of weary boredom like he'd seen on so many people with mundane jobs. This was no magical force or supernatural gift, just the practice of a man who'd had to learn facial control through intent rather than instinct. By the time they arrived, he'd looked like any other day worker, ready to get the job done so he could move on with his life. That was why Jester could never give up the lifestyle. He was one of the only people he'd ever met who truly loved his work, and that was too rare to let go of. Today was looking especially bright, and Jester could scarcely wait for the sun to fall. Once it did, the real job started. Oh. Oh boy. I have not read this much in a long time. Gonna have to start taking more water breaks.
They're paying for your suffering.
They are.
What?
That is the dance. All right. How has the voting been going as I have been reading?
See democracy in action.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many.
Also a pay-to-win game.
Let's see. I see Drotalk's audiobooks saying they have to go to a Magic the Gathering game. Ah, I'm sad John's not here to cheers that. They say go right. Let's see. Troy votes for down at a full sprint, which I think y'all are still against a wall. So that's. Let me double check here. Yeah, y'all are still against a wall. So that would be a bit of an aggressive run. All right. I like that Jen was waiting for me to pause and look at the camera on that line. That's one of my favorite little jokes that I've worked into a book. The wolf stop looking at the camera. Let's see. Oh, we got extra few from Drotalk's audiobooks. All right. I see a lot of general rights, but the one that matters is the donation one, and that is the Dro, and that says also go right. So I think y'all are going right. As soon as I can remember which of these is the correct one. Woo! Boom.
Hey guys, my headset just warned me that my battery is about to die. So, I have to bail out and let that charge for a little while.
Well, we will look forward to seeing you back here in a few hours when that is charged back up.
All right. Good luck.
It wouldn't be the same if you didn't have a technical difficulty. People would be disappointed.
Oh. There we go.
Switch to my cell phone after this next chapter. I'm upstairs. My youngest is upstairs too, and he's like, "Go downstairs, Dad. I don't want you up here."
All right. So y'all have all moved right. You now have the ability to go right and up. Right or up. not and, right? Or up. Or you could, again, go left. You could go backwards. It's always there. It's always an option. But as we are waiting to go into our next round, I'm going to just take a moment and let my voice rest for a second and show y'all some of the things that could be found on the Drew's Wheel of Having to Eat Stuff.
I can't help that. Think that would benefit from a snappier name, although it is very accurate. So
It's Wheel of Eats on my
Wheel of Eats.
Wheel of Eats. Let's see if it'll.
Oh.
There it is. All right. So avocado cream cheese chips, which might be delicious for somebody. I hate cream cheese, so I don't have a lot of faith in how these are going to get integrated into a chip.
So it's extra funny if we can somehow make that happen.
Yeah. We already did mystery fish. Caprese stick ? It's a stick with pictures of a caprese salad, mozzarella, tomato, basil.
Okay. In a convenient stick format.
Indeed. As we have folks coming in,
I've often thought, this salad would be much more enjoyable if it was in stick format.
What do you want for lunch? I don't know. Just give me a stick or something.
As folks are coming in, reminder, if you're voting, please vote with your dollars. We are doing a fundraiser, and those are the ones that we will ultimately count first and most. You can do it directly to the Indiegogo or via the YouTube if you would prefer. Oh, you know what, Steve? I have one special that I got just for you. Well, not for you. You're not here. All right. Where is my camp? There we go. I added wine gums to the wheel just for you, bud.
Ah, British classic. I feel seen. I feel culturally represented in this endeavor.
I also found 2 miniature jars of moonshine. So those are the purples on there. That's when shit gets real. Also, I'm realizing that rather than delete mystery fish, I have somehow doubled up on mystery fish, which is a problem.
Mystery fish.
A problem since we've already done mystery fish.
There must be more mystery fish out there.
You're not suffering with wine gums. After our episode where we yelled at each other about Swedish fish for wine gums, I ordered like a 2-pound tub from Amazon, and I have to admit they were pretty damn good.
Wine gums are pretty good. I'll stand by them.
Oh, this is the drum mystery snack. I could not think of what else to call it. There's people playing a drum. It's the most I was able to get.
Huh? Yeah, I can't think of anything more apt than that.
I often look at rock bands and be like, I wonder what that drummer tastes like.
I've been in bands and they probably taste awful. They don't smell great.
All right, I'm going to let y'all talk for a minute while I go use the restroom.
Oh, how are we doing on the old Shingles fundraiser? 251 backers.
Yeah.
Currently at $22,440 of our, I guess, our tiered goal. That's pretty good. That's a good start.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
We're like 1,300 from the start there today.
Nice. Not to mention the various YouTube donations that
People
have gone
really
through.
want to go diagonal.
Yeah. You can make it happen. You just got to put that financial pressure on. Sarragon X just sent 20 to the Indiegogo. Says get that chest. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the rules are here. I wasn't here at the beginning. Is it just whoever has the most money makes the decision? That sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that'll do.
Man, you know what? You know what'd be great if somebody with just more money than sense came on and just decided to fuck with everybody. And it's like, go right. No, no, no. Here's $100. Go left. And just kept voting the opposite. No, no, go back. Go back a square. I don't want to see that shit.
It's getting into a bidding war. I mean, you know, we're all winners if that happens. So, if people want to throw away their money because of spite,
Manatee should be
excellent
on the wheel
motivator.
since Bevan said Drew is anti-manatee. Yes, but that would assume that Drew has a dead manatee in his refrigerator, which I can't say he doesn't, but
None of us know that for sure.
I
That's
also can't say that I have ever truly given a fuck about manatees, positive or negative.
true.
Either way, I
No
have
strong feelings about manatees.
null opinion on manatees, like a just a zero, a neutral.
although if we hit I'll say if we hit that 60,000 today, we
And
all
someone,
go out we all go out for a manatee dinner and we film it.
oh, I'm fucking Cajun. If it flies, swims, swithers, or crawls, we can deep fry it. I'm not a goddamn afraid of a manatee.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Deep
want
fried manatee.
Yeah,
if you want us to have strong opinions on manatees, you know, there's a price point for that.
yeah. You can have anything you want
I
for
don't have
money.
to give you my opinions on manatees. I can hate them if you pay me enough. Or love them. We'll see.
All right. So it seems like y'all are going to be heading for the chest on the next round, which sounds like a good call. But before that, we have another chapter to read.
Do
The
it.
park was bad. Not completely derelict, although it very well might have been before Corey's arrival. Seeing teams of sanitation workers scuttling around betrayed the fact that they'd probably been doing some work already. While she did like authenticity in her videos, places left alone for this long could probably use a good sweep before going on camera. Stumbling across a nest of animal corpses, or worse, living wild animals, slowed everything down. Trash was fine. Only the truly gruesome stuff would have to be edited out. Even aside from demonetization concerns, Corey tried to keep her content generally accessible, casting as wide a net as possible. In truth, bad was good for what she needed. Without a shitty, run-down park to film at the top, the new, sparkling, finished version wouldn't look as good in contrast. If the final park was a 5 out of 10, it would shine all the brighter compared to where it started, which ranked somewhere around a -3. The trash, frayed tents, the stained signs, the weather damage, all of it came together to paint a picture of neglect and waste. None of the rides were working, of course. They had people out looking them over, although not too many. Corey couldn't help noticing that most of the executives who'd been around arriving immediately went right to the housing building, dropping off their bags and hunkering down in closed-door meetings that she wasn't permitted near. She had been a little surprised by the on-site housing, but considering the geography, it made sense. Even before the world stopped caring, getting here must have been something of a drive. A hotel allowed guests to stay longer and spend more, while also offering a spot to let employees live. Keeping them on property meant that they were always available to work, and cut down on fears about people missing shifts. Corey and her team had been set up in the old employee quarters, which came with 4 walls, half-rotted desks, and dusty beds. The people in suits were using the hotel rooms, which Corey took a small comfort in knowing their accommodations couldn't be that much better. Father Time didn't play favorites. Everything here was old, no matter how nice it had once been. They used the afternoon to get in as many daylight shots of Giggle Time Mountain as possible. It was a large park, especially considering the age. Rides dotted the landscape, retreating only from the midway and food courts, where large gathering spaces had once been needed. There were also empty stores and service stands, all branded with the Giggle Time Mountain characters. Mr. Giggles was on nearly all of them, of course, his giant pink ears poking up even in the crowded shots. Frequently, he was joined by Admiral Raccoon, Dr. Puddin, and Albatross Esquire, who were apparently more common in the Giggle Time mythos than less popular ones, like Squirts, the pooping turtle. "Why is the raccoon an admiral?" Bernard asked as they wandered under an old sign advertising ice cream, with the special bonus that half the staff was now washing their hands as they served customers. "I mean, they've got an albatross right there, and those are seabirds. Makes a lot more sense to have him be the admiral and make the raccoon the lawyer." "I'm impressed you know what Esquire means," Horace said. "And the answer is obvious. It's a cartoon. They mixed up the roles because it makes less sense, and is therefore funnier. There's nothing unexpected about finding an albatross around a boat. Seeing him wear a tiny suit with a briefcase in his beak, that's entertainment." Corey turned, catching a few sanitation workers who were cleaning up near the Ferris wheel entrance. One of them, a thick man with a patchy beard, looked up, catching sight of her filming. His eyes went wide, so Corey gave a big smile and a cheerful wave, making sure he knew it was fine. They'd just cut around the part where he'd accidentally looked into the lens. No big deal. He kept staring at her for several seconds, finally managing a shameful expression as he turned away. Poor guy must think he'd really messed up the shot. "At least it makes more sense than the doctor. That one is just a lump of brown with a stethoscope and googly eyes. Looks more like Dr. Turd than Dr. Puddin'," Bernard grumbled, even as he swapped out batteries on his camera, throwing the spent one onto a portable charger equipped to his belt. Bernard often looked, and acted like an overburdened pack mule, but he had a system for dealing with equipment that no one else was allowed to be part of. It worked, so Corey let it be. As long as he could do the job well, there was no reason to complain about how he did it. "Mr. Giggles is still the worst," Horace replied. "Something about his eyes. Too wide. Too excited. Even without all the murder legends, the rabbit gives me the creeps." "Good point." Corey swung away from the sanitation workers, up to the ice cream sign. "Let's get plenty of Mr. Giggles footage. Since we won't have a real killer to film, we can use the sign shots whenever we talk about the urban legend. Add a little music and lighting in post, we can make it feel unnerving, get the viewer into the right frame of mind." Behind her, the bearded sanitation worker looked up once more, carefully committing Corey and her friends to his memory. He'd have to take care of them sometime tonight, ideally before Jester found out. If Wolf came back and told their leader what happened without the tape in hand, there would be no discussion or debate. He'd just kill Wolf where he stood, and the others would step lightly over his corpse. That was the cost of working with other murderers. Boop. All right. Another round done. Oh, wow, Rick has definitely changed his view.
Yeah. Got tired of being told to leave.
Get out of here, Dad. Oh.
You got tired of being told to leave, so you left.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like
I
giving up.
left my own bedroom because I was tired of being told to leave.
Well, unsurprisingly, based on the votes we got and everything, I think we know the direction that we're going to be moving on this one. I always get the layers wrong.
I'm intrigued.
All right. I am. This is a good time probably to explain it because we had Dro Talks audiobooks asking how it works in the comments. So, quick refresher for folks who are coming onto the stream. This game board represents the Thunder Pair Publishing basement. You are an intern hunting around for some of Drew's old junk. You can hunt through. There's various things that I've forgotten to eat, some old traps, a few monsters, and a few actual pieces of content that have been lost to time, or they're just out of print. And if you can find them, they will be unlocked and on my site when we end this stream. So, how it works is I'm going to finish each chapter. We're going to look at everyone's votes, and you can vote with your donations for left, right, up, or down in general. There are walls and stuff that sort of limit that. But so if, say, $10 has been donated to move right and $5 has been donated to move left at the end, we're moving right. And in this case, we had quite a few people who had donated to go get that chest. So I'm just going to adjust our view on this a little bit to give you all a better... Yeah, okay. Here, we're going to do this. Okay. A little more game board to work with. But y'all are going up to the chest. Whoop, that's the wrong thing to grab. And then some. Alright, y'all are going up to the chest, which I will highlight and everything in a moment. I'm going to have to drag the little icon outside of the chest because unlike the teeth, this one does not... Oh, no, it actually shows up really well on the map. I was wrong. When you're zoomed in, it looks great. Okay. So, you have found another chest. You have walked up into it. And you have unlocked a compass.
Ooh.
Indeed. And a compass is a very fortunate little tool because when you find a compass, it will illuminate the nearest golden chest. And the golden chests are the ones that hold the out-of-print content. That's, the stuff y'all are functionally looking for. So,
Drew going all Willy Wonka on us here.
yeah. So you move up, you take the compass, and it successfully will activate the nearest golden chest. All right. Let's see. Y'all should be able to see that. Perfect. So yeah, y'all are pretty close to one. How close? Who can say? All right, let's refresh the Shingles Indiegogo fundraiser. Let's zoom this side in a little bit. There we go. And let's get y'all back up in there because I have to go refill my water. I have drained this entire giant thing in the course of the chapters we've done so far.
It's thirsty work.
Yeah, it's a lot of talking. So yeah, y'all let me know if we have questions or whatnot that came with me. I will check those afterward.
We're doing pretty well again on the Indiegogo. Halfway through the 22,000 now at $22,515.
Nice.
253 backers. Nice, this is going well. I did hear a rumor. It may be a lie, but a pretty solid rumor that once a project gets to around the 25 grand mark, it becomes a lot more visible on Indiegogo. So just putting it out there. If you fancy getting it up to 25 grand today, it would make us look cool, I guess. And even if the rumor isn't true, that's a pretty ambitious goal, I think.
It would still make us look cool.
Yeah, it would still. Yeah, we end up looking cool regardless. But Actually, no, that sounded very complacent. If you don't get us to 25 grand, it will be devastating and nobody will be cool. Probably.
So, some of us are never cool to begin with. This is our one and only shot.
Rick, I'm trying to make some stakes here. Yeah, this is our one and only shot to be cool. Don't take this away from us. There you go. There's some stakes. There's some emotional stakes. We do have a few questions in the YouTube as well. But I don't know if we should probably wait for Drew to get back before we answer them. I'm not stealing Drew's questions. That'd be impolite.
It's like, Drew, how do you write your books? Well, we'll take that question for him.
I believe I can answer that. Again, I'm not sure. Say we're at 22.5 on the Indiegogo. We've also got all the YouTube money that's accumulated. Sadly, I won't know how much that actually is until the YouTube beast takes its bite. But it must be a fair old chunk by now.
Yeah, got to be at least 100.
I would think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's going well.
YouTube takes their pleasure of being on YouTube tax.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as if there's some kind of YouTube alternative we could use, so who you got to complain to? That's the monopoly for you. I won't complain too loudly, just in case.
Yeah, well, that might be the way to do it. We start our own called UsTube, and then wait for Google to buy us out for for 27 billion.
Just start a credible competition and wait for them to buy it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much how technological development has been working for the past 15 years or so. It seems to be a successful model for some people.
Do a startup, you get bought out, and then the rest of the world has to listen to you for the rest of the time because you have $1 billion. The newspapers keep giving you headlines.
So he must be worth listening to. He's obscenely rich. He bought all those other smart people's stuff. Yeah. Man, I wish I could go into space. Yeah, keep donating. I want to go to the moon. Let's make this happen. I'm only joking. I'm not going to use any of this money to go to the moon. This is all movie money. It's going to get a movie made. And then when that movie makes $1 billion, I might go to the moon. Maybe.
Yeah, right now we might have enough money to get you to the moon, but we don't have enough to get you back.
I mean, you could strap me to a rocket, but we don't have enough money for doing that safely or with any degree of certainty that I will not die in space. But then again, life's all about adventure, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. If we hit $70,000 today, we'll strap Steve to a rocket. Give people incentive,
What would I do on the moon? Says Leslie Mann. Probably just die. I always thought I used to like watching Despicable Me with the kids, and my daughter's favorite character was Vector. But it's like occasionally we'll just sort of sit down and think, did Vector just die on the moon? Because they left him on the moon, and he didn't have any resources. Is he just dead on the moon? Is there a Vector skeleton there? He didn't appear in any of the other Despicable Me movies either. So I assume he's dead, and that is a conversation I had with my small daughter.
That's the dark side of cartoons there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie to her. I mean, that guy's definitely dead on the moon. Every time you look up at the moon, You just imagine there's a lonely little corpse up there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do if I go to the moon. Just die. Bum everyone out.
A corpse. I think you're being a little optimistic there, bud. Oh, we saw a jump in the shingles again. I was also catching up on the comments. Big thank you to Ben Robinson, who has apparently gave us that big old donation boost and is now in trouble for it. So appreciations and condolences.
That's dedication. Alienate your relatives. Make this movie happen.
Spend your divorce fund on shingles.
Let's see. Troy Neenan asks, am I shocked that none of the characters have a still on the ship or didn't buy an absurd amount of booze? No, none of them are nearly good enough with their money to ever manage something. I mean, Klaus has bought a lot of wine and put it into his bag of holding.
He's forgotten about it.
Yeah. Like, I remember that he just has stolen and functionally kept a ton of wine around. Now that's a thing that requires patience and planning. Nothing they're ever gonna do.
No.
No.
A lot of foresight going on.
If they get a still and try to make moonshine, what we're really seeing is a countdown to them blowing up. Like
100%.
Yeah, it's just a when do they cause their own explosion.
Seems like a great way to get rid of that boat.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, what's the collective move vote while I was gone?
Oh, good question. Sean Weldon gave us $2 and says down, right, BA, left. I don't think that's possible.
No, that one would not be. I think I saw someone vote right. If it wasn't clear, there's a wall there. Yeah, it was Joe Talks Audiobooks who voted right. Well, we're gonna just go with the first of down then.
People really just want to run into that wall.
They do. They do. I'm not going to say whether or not there is an item in here that will allow you to pass through walls, only that if there is, my god, y'all certainly want to find it, right? I also had the realization, as we're into this now, that I definitely made this way more complex than we're ever going to get to be able to see in the course of this live stream.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Here, I'm moving the compass so I can move y'all. There we go. Okay, you have moved back down.
Hopefully, we'll see it. I want to see you eat that caprese salad stick.
I guess I should mention, we're almost 2 hours in. I'll flash the old Wheel of Eats again real quick. And if there's something on here that you would really like to see me eat or drink, go ahead and do some direct donations. I'm not going to say how much each one will cost to get me to eat it, but there absolutely is an associated price on each of those bad boys. The moonshines are they're going to be interesting. They're all sealed. I've not tried any of them.
And again, if you want Drew to put all of those things into a bucket and eat it in one sit, there's a price point on it.
There is. There absolutely is. Here, I want to show off my. These are the moonshines in question. Little jars. Little jars.
Ooh, if it comes in a jar,
it's going to take you far.
Time for everyone.
Yeah.
Is that how the saying goes? That's a good saying. If it comes in a jar, it'll take you far.
Into intoxication. Yeah, into deep alcoholism. Oh, man. Let's see. Jen's asking about Two Moves, for instance. Again, y'all have to, get to some of the items in here that I guess I might have to add.
Ben says she can't take my producer credit in the divorce. That's true. I think that's ironclad. You'll always have that.
You will. And hey, if y'all really want to see more of the map again, fund the whole thing.
Although if she donates 1,005, we might have to consider it.
Yeah, again, what was the saying? That anything you want is available. If you want a double movement, I'm sure that's in there. All right, we are going to do another chapter from Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain, the shingles thing that we are funding. Woo!
Woo!
And I will let y'all look at the map as I read. Ghoul was the last to arrive. This was not due to poor planning or inefficient use of time. She was late because her job had involved the most legwork. Everyone had their own tasks, and as the best infiltration artist of the group, she was selected for the stealthiest errands. Burlap had been rigging the bridge, Wolf was making a layout of the park, Jester did whatever Jester deemed needed doing, and Ghoul was in charge of disabling outward communication. With cell service already spotty, most people probably wouldn't even realize that signal jammers had been set up through the park, piggybacking on the few working electrical systems still running. Cutting the landline was a tad more obvious, which was why she'd waited as late in the day as possible to do it. Once the bridge went down, it wouldn't matter, but anything that could tip off their prey before the trap was sprung risked the entire enterprise. Some risk was inevitable, however, which was why Jester instructed her to simply make the move near evening. The sun dipped low overhead, almost kissing the horizon, as she arrived at the meeting spot. They'd need to rest for the next few hours, recovering their strength from a day of prep, while the prey tired themselves out. Midnight was usually the best time to get things started. All the responsible people were asleep, and the irresponsible people were compromised. If history held true, they'd be looking at an entire park of easy targets by the time they were ready to move. Finding the door wasn't easy. This location was tucked away near an old cluster of maintenance worker buildings. Inside one was what appeared to be the remains of a false wall that had been scraped away, as well as a very serious lock lying on the ground. Ghoul paused to admire the hunk of metal, turning it over in her hand. Heavy, reinforced, this must have been top-of-the-line technology when it was made. Of course, locks, and lock-picking technology, had grown tremendously over the years. Had Ghoul been present for this obstacle, she felt confident she'd have been able to get them through with a hairpin and a few minutes of work. Instead, they'd used a method more suited to burlap. The lock was still cold from where it had been sprayed with liquid nitrogen, and shards of it were on the ground near where they must have struck from the door. Freeze and smash. Not delicate, but they weren't going to be hiding much longer anyway. What interested Ghoul more was the existence of this lock at all. She'd been breaking into buildings all day, and it was easily the best defense Ghoul had come across. Who had decided this hidden door in an abandoned amusement park was worth such protection? Making her way down the stairs, Ghoul passed into the basement where she found the others waiting. Seeing the lock had piqued her curiosity, but there didn't seem to be anything in here worth guarding. Some rusted old tools, scraps of wadded-up paper piled in random spots, and a boiler that clearly hadn't been functional for decades, and an axe. The existence of an axe wasn't surprising in itself. Rather, the placement made it interesting. Instead of being piled up with the rest of the tools, it was embedded in the middle of the floor. The natural suspicion was that her cohorts had been messing around, but that wasn't the sort of thing Jester tolerated. If the axe was like that, then it was how they'd found it. So why would someone slam an axe into the ground? "Are we set?" Jester asked. His voice brought Ghoul back to reality, reminding her that they had far more pressing concerns than a curiously stored axe. Communications are down. There's a storm front blowing in as well, so hopefully even if they notice, the weather will take the blame, Ghoul reported. Jester said nothing at first. He was busy slipping his mask back into place. Of them all, none spent more time masked than Jester. He would remove it to live his life and keep up a cover, but in private, he always dwelled beneath the hideous beauty of his mask. Sometimes Ghoul imagined him relaxing when putting it on, even though she'd never actually seen Jester at ease, not even for a moment. Finally, when the mask was fully donned, he continued. Excellent work, Burlap. Let's use the storm to our advantage. Wait until there's a round of lightning, then use that as cover to blow the bridge. If we time it well, they could mistake the noise for thunder and blame the loss of a bridge on nature. The longer we keep them off balance, the freer we'll be to make our moves. Jester strolled over to the axe in the center of the room, idly looking it over. To think, amateurs earned such reputation by coming here and chopping up a few people with hastily grabbed equipment. I can only wonder what sort of legends will spring up around the scene we leave behind. Reaching out, he grabbed the axe and pulled it 3 times, yanking it free from the ground on his last and final tug. For a split second, Ghoul thought she spotted something on the floor moving, but all she could see was an odd amount of dust spreading across the floor. Still, there's no reason not to use a scapegoat when one presents itself. Credit is for amateurs. What matters is the art. And tonight, I suspect Mr. Giggles will be credited with quite the macabre gallery. Thunder shook the building, near enough that Ghoul could feel the vibrations. Her brow creased. That was fast. She'd come in moments ago, and while there were clouds on the horizon, they'd been a distance off. Maybe the wind was stronger than she knew. Shaking her head, Ghoul removed such silly concerns from her mind. There was no need to fear something as simple as the weather. They were the scariest things in this park, and it was the prey who should be afraid. Once midnight arrived, a storm would be the least of their concerns. What up, y'all? All right, another chapter down. Drink some root beers. I refresh stuff.
Awesome. I'm gonna jump off for a bit because dinner's ready here. I'll pop back on a little later.
Heck yeah, man. We appreciate your time. Oh, do I see a Ruby Bigfoot on there with us?
Yes.
Howdy.
Hey!
I was doing some light demoing at my place, and I've had enough beer where I figured I should put down the hammer for a minute.
It's the best time to hammer.
That might be the most on-brand entrance you've had yet.
And 100% factual.
Oh, I didn't doubt it for a moment. Oh, goodness. Well, it sounds like you are having a heck of a Sunday. So are we. We are raising money for shingles. We are reading a book. And we are inching our way toward prizes. Speaking of, what's the current count or vote, Steve?
The current shingles count, or the current who gets to control where the Drew icon goes count?
The icon count. Which direction are we going with the map?
We had Sargnan X give us $5 and says, "You fellas ever tried TikTok as a viable source of advertising?" I don't know what TikTok is.
I've seen it. I have the feeling that I am too old for TikTok. That's the impression I've gotten of TikTok, whether it's factual or not.
Yeah, by the time I understand what TikTok is, it won't be relevant anymore. So I'm just gonna skip all that and say fuck it. He also votes right, so
All
we
right.
have a vote for right. Dream Fox gave us $5. It says, as someone whose brain is absurdly loud if there's no white noise at night, I really feel for Sherman. Also, can't wait for the next NPCs. Grumph is my favorite.
Awesome.
Forgot to vote for a direction though, did you, Dream Fox?
Well, I will remind you
no.
that the next Spell, Swords, and Stealth is in the works, and will definitely be done this year. We'll see about if it comes out this year. That's just sort of based on publishing timelines that are still a little wonky in the pandemic.
Actually, the Dream Fox did vote right later on, so I'll
All
shut
right.
my mouth. So it's 2 votes for right.
I see a moonshine in right. I see $20 for wine gums. So it seems like we're definitely going right this round. So let's address that.
I wish somebody would pay me $20 to eat wine gums. Hell, I'd do it for free. That kind of guy.
As the voice of the people, I'd also like to point out people are talking about soaking those wine gummies in moonshine. How much would that cost? Just throwing that out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, $20 will absolutely get me to eat a few wine gums on camera. That is a reasonable amount for that.
You just put them in the moonshine now. Let's get going.
We can't be giving stuff for free. This is a fundraiser. We gotta.
Right. I'm saying for 30, maybe they're soaked in moonshine. We're just preparing you.
Oh
What
God.
might be happening.
Well, let's see how these do on their own. Is there a color you'd recommend to start with, Steve?
I'm really not that discerning, Drew. I just tend to shove as much of them in my face as possible.
Are they the same flavor? Is this a Skittles situation or?
You know, I've never stopped long enough to find out. It's more about the experience for me. But I'd say go with red or like black.
Yeah, it's a dark red. Claret.
Clarets.
Claret.
I don't think they actually contain booze. They're just cool. Maybe in the old days. Maybe it's like a cocaine in the soda situation. And these used to just be little bags of booze to give your children. Shut them up. But that probably won't fly in today's PC world.
Boy, I don't know what to make of that. I'm gonna try an orange and see if they do have different flavors. And by an orange, I mean a hawk. Are these types of wine that I've just never had?
What? Orange wine.
Hawk?
It's not Boone's Farm?
Don't remember that one. How long has it been since I've actually stopped to examine a wine gum before just shoving it directly into my system?
Sorry, y'all. I
Wow.
forgot to mute myself before I did all that chewing.
Are people not paying extra for the chewing noises, or there are 5
He was saving
shapes?
that. He was saving that for his OnlyFans.
The gums come in 5 shapes: kidney, crown, rhombus, circle, and oblong. This is like the most British shapes. And port, sherry, champagne, burgundy, and claret are the other traditional ones, but others also do merlot or rum. Apparently. There you go.
All right, I had to turn the camera off while I got the bits that were stuck in my teeth out. That's going to be a much higher cost to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying enough for that kind of interaction yet.
Not yet.
But somebody did just donate a shitload to the Shingles Indiegogo, because we are now at $23,830 US.
Holy crap! Let me go refresh that right the heck now.
Rick and I were chatting earlier about an arbitrary goal of 25 grand. Apparently, the algorithm treats you more favorably once you reach that.
All right. Well, If whoever just donated that tremendous amount of money wants to, screenshot and let us know, you can pick from the pile. I'll eat anything. I'll try the moonshine. I'll dunk a fucking wine gum in the moonshine for $1,000. You've got run of the show.
That was somebody buying the signed sloppy puppeteer. So that's gone now. Some lucky fella or fellerette or fellerino is going to get that slightly used horror puppet through their door.
Woo! Yeah, and they have definitely earned some sort of special whatever they want in the board game through a round. You let us know. That's some damn money. Whew. Ooh, excuse me.
Nice.
Same for Ben,
Good
by the way.
choice.
I don't know if Ben ever claimed his prize within this. Like, if you
Ben's
want
got
me
his
to,
own problems to
yeah, Ben's fighting his own battle.
It sounds like he might need an air mattress thrown in the deal, no matter what happens.
Okay. Give me just one moment. Get that up.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Let's see. They've asked if there's a way to turn Steve up. Let me. Nope. Steve is at maximum. There it is.
I could put this close to my face. Is that better?
Nice.
There we go.
Yes.
That's encouraging. Thank you, Ruby.
It just got a
Steve,
lot
I think you're about to just start making us a whole lot more money for a whole
that's
different content.
Yeah, for sure. Woo!
I already read the sex werewolf book. That was its own thing. Its own intimate experience.
But did you read it shirtless? Because I feel like there might be like a different vibe to that one.
Sure, let's see how much money we make. Okay, today. We still got 4 days. I could get pretty desperate in the end game.
Yeah, it's like I've got a pile of weird shit to eat. Come on, let's put our dedication in. Oh.
A JLD says there are different companies that make wine gums. That's true, but there's only one true wine gums, and I think that is.
Is it Norfolk Manor? Because that's the one I got.
No.
All right.
I don't know what Norfolk Manor is.
Well, they're the ones who make
Got
Cabot and Claret. All right. I'm gonna let y'all see. So the game board. So your options here are right or left, pretty much. Right or left. Up and down are both walls. You can clearly see there is a golden chest within nearness. So I am going to read another chapter, and we will see what y'all decide to do.
Da-da-da.
The last of the dust joined its brethren, separated so very long ago. Slowly it slid into place, a form taking shape. The body was tall and thick, honed by years of underpaid and unsafe work, keeping an amusement park running. Stained coveralls, once a cheerful light blue, appeared from under the shifting dust, followed soon by weather-beaten patches of skin. Last came the head, pink and black singed sections breaking up the light pastel. 2 ears, both flopped over, a smile, a half-bemused expression, and painted-on eyes as dead as the man behind them. A pair of heavy boots swung over from the table, setting down heavily onto the wooden floor. Mr. Giggles rose. At last the axe was moved, the final piece of his flesh set free. Crackles of electricity ran along his skin, and thunder clapped overhead. Worse by far, were the sounds and stink of people. People in the park. People in his park. Mr. Giggles knew where he was. He knew every inch of this place, no matter how it changed or aged. He'd been revived in the old character costume storage room. Sometimes he came back in the midway, sometimes down here. Once he'd even awoken atop the coaster where it all began. His hands flexed involuntarily, reaching for his axe. It was nowhere nearby, and those flexing hands turned into fists. He needed his axe. He wasn't complete without his axe. This wasn't the first time he'd come back without it, though. In fact, it happened more often than not. Stumbling forward, Mr. Giggles put a thick hand against the nearest wall. Through a small corner of unblocked window, he could just make out the final rays of daylight peeking through. Soon, soon he could leave. The storm was coming. The storm always came. But Mr. Giggles was not a creature of the sun. Monsters weren't meant for the daylight, and even in his condition, Mr. Giggles knew to wait the same way he'd been naturally drawn to his axe. He was a creature of pure impulse, driven only by urges and instincts. Awaken, find the axe, kill, 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 die. Repeat. When the sun was gone. Soon. The peal of thunder drew some muffled annoyance from the people in suits, but otherwise garnered no major interest. They were more concerned with helping themselves to the expertly crafted catering being served from steaming containers. It looked delicious. Unfortunately, look was all Corey and her crew were able to do. Ajax had provided them with dinner, in that they had food to eat. Staring down at the cheap, plastic-wrapped sandwiches was hard to swallow for both culinary reasons and due to looking at a mountain of nearby shrimp they weren't allowed to touch. All that kept Corey from complaining was the fact that Ajax was eating the same sandwiches as them. Most of the support staff were, she noted. The fine dining was only for the executives. The rest were expected to eat what they were given. Making a mental note to lock down specifics about lodging and dining in her next contract, Corey winced at another clap of thunder. There had been some potential weather warnings, but this was coming in unusually fast. The sky was turning gray and black as clouds raced the late summer sun to see who could darken the world first. Corey wasn't especially scared of the weather. She was just a realist. They had to get night shots, and a storm would make their job substantially harder. Her best case scenario at this point was hoping she'd only be running around with lightning to worry about. If rain came too, it got all that much harder. Between the shifting weather and horrendous dinner, Corey decided there were better ways to use her time. Closing her eyes, too aware she needed the nutrition and energy, Corey wolfed down the rest of her sandwich, washing it down with a can of discount energy drink. Horace and Bernard both took the cue and increased their own pace. Both were fast eaters anyway. They wouldn't need long. If you'll excuse us, I think we'll try and get some night shots as soon as the sun goes down. Since it looks like we're racing a storm, I want to be in position the moment our lighting is right. Corey picked up her bag as she explained things to Ajax, who looked up with an expression of brief worry. That should be fine. There were some activities planned later on, for the executives, I mean, that won't be recorded. I'll meet up with you before then to make sure you don't accidentally shoot the wrong footage. But there's nothing to worry about on that front for the next hour and a half. Be in the Midway at that time, and I'll guide you to the places you can continue filming. Sounds perfect. It sounded like shit, really. However, some time free from a handler beat none, so Corey wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Shooting a glance to Bernard and Horace, she saw both men wiping off the final crumbs from their face and lifting their gear. We'll try to get as much done before then as possible. Should help us stay out of the way. Ajax's face visibly relaxed at those words, and Corey knew she'd made the right move. There very well might be a few things she did want to film once the night festivities began, but having someone suspicious would only make the job harder. Until then, she had a lot of shots to get in and no idea when the storm would start. Whoop. All right, we are back.
Nice. Before you get started, I have to put this to rest, okay? Maynard's wine guns were introduced in 1909 by Charles Gordon Maynard, so they are the original wine gums. And apparently, it took him some time to persuade his strict Methodist and teetotaler father that the sweets did not contain wine. And in fact, they were sort of advertised as an alternative to booze. So they weren't to get children drunk, they were to wean children off of alcohol.
Wait, hang on. That is raising a lot of questions, man.
Like, the British Isles, we had nothing to do but get rained on and get drunk. We didn't have like children's TV for another like 80 years after that, I guess. So, children would just drink a lot. You wanted your children to go to sleep, give them some booze. In fact, I'm mostly joking about that, but I do remember that my parents used to give me brandy for toothache. So maybe it was a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Crying, toothache, whiskey.
talking too much.
All the same.
Yeah, it's a cure.
Did you know that off the top of your head about
No,
Maynard's?
I left it.
Oh, okay.
No,
That would have been
I was gonna lie,
impressive.
I was going to say, yes, it's something that every British person has drummed into them throughout their education.
Jen Brown in the YouTube asks if the 1300 was enough to earn a diagonal. Absolutely. If that person
Yeah.
chooses to ask for a diagonal, that they 100% will get it. That is well within their abilities. Let's see.
If they choose to abuse their power,
Yeah,
they may.
they 100%. We have I'm guessing the votes are for right so far.
Yeah, we haven't had a vote for left.
All right. If that's where the
Yeah, it's all
money
been right
is
so far.
has been put, then so be it.
John Judkins just gave us 99 cents for seemingly no reason. Didn't vote for anything.
Oh, just appreciated then.
But thank you anyway.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
Oh, he says right. There you go.
There you go. All right, so gonna go ahead and bring back the game board and let y'all, really take a look at it. Might be a good thing you didn't necessarily burn your diagonal there. Sometimes, you learn. You get to see a little information as you go. And this will, of course, be the next thing y'all vote on. But before we get into the next chapter, I am taking another bathroom break. I know everyone is shocked.
Everyone take a drink.
Yeah.
You're going to put that cool be right back thing up here.
I am. I
Sounds
am.
adorable.
I wanted to get y'all there, and then boop.
Segninex in the chat says, "Oh, you wanted the sloppy doll." A lot of us did, mate. But
Some days we
I'm
are
glad
all the
it's going
sloppy
to-
doll.
Yeah. Don't say that until you've read the book, Ruby. But I'm glad it's going
Still
to a good
stands.
home. Fair enough. Ben Robinson said he got the producer credit. Was thinking about getting the perk to be an extra, but nowhere near Pittsburgh. That is a shame, yeah, because the extra perk is really cool. It's like pay to be in the movie, but kind of depends on you being able to get around the Pittsburgh area, sort of a flexible notice. So I understand why there's only been a few of them sold, but
I
to
think
be in a movie, it'd be pretty cool.
We do generally have the assessment that if any of us who are able to pop out for that will. So if you are one of those extras, we will absolutely, make some time for you. But we don't know. We don't have dates and everything, so it's not like we have the ability to commit. It's just we all know we want to go out there if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dream Fox got the extra perk on day one, but lives in Northwest Ohio, so just a couple of hours away. So ideal, really. Yeah, I guess if you want to just like harass people in your neighborhood and get them to want to be extras too, Don't harass people in your neighborhood. Do harass people in your neighborhood. But for legal reasons, don't.
Or maybe do.
But
You do you.
I also learned today that Northwest Ohio is only a couple hours from Pittsburgh, so.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot of my American geography. I didn't even know there was where Pittsburgh was until we started this campaign. We're all learning a lot. We're learning and growing together. It's an experience.
Let's see.
Speaking of growing together, 256 backers.
Wow.
Still at 23,830 US doll hairs. Well done, everyone. That's excellent.
All right.
But I will put it out there again. If you get to 25,000, there is apparently, according to the people at Indiegogo, some kind of algorithm boost we get. So just put it out there. I don't make the rules.
Are you sure, Steve? Are you sure you don't?
I didn't make that rule. Okay? Specifically. I may have. I don't know. I have put down like a lot of arbitrary sort of goals since we started this. So I have been known just to make shit up.
I mean, I built a whole game of goals for this one. So it's all, I don't know, what you can in the moment.
Yeah. There are tangible results for your goals. We can see them on the screen. So it's a lot more honest.
Now, let's be fair, Steve. A whole lot of the Shingles movie exists because of your efforts. Like, you wrote the script, you led the charge. This is a big undertaking with Steve Wetherall on it.
I was gonna like save all the "you people owe me" for like the last countdown. Just going like the last day of this fundraiser, just a really angry rant about various how I'm very feel entitled to your support. But I'll save that.
Gotta have something to build up to.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll ruin the mood when it's too late.
All right, folks. So you have the option to go up or down. For those who are joining us as we go, reminder: you can vote with your donations. So vote and add a number amount and specify, and whichever direction has the most money set upon it at the end of this chapter will be the direction that the character moves. And for the first time, it looks like there might actually be a choice making. So I will leave y'all to donate and vote, donate, if you will, as I read another chapter of Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain. Mr. Giggles didn't need to wait until midnight. He didn't have to lay plans or map escape routes or discern how to best manipulate his prey. This wasn't some weekend warrior camp or rage outlet from his everyday life. There was no everyday life. There was only this endless cycle of blood, pain, and death. Mr. Giggles existed to kill, nothing else. All that kept him from wandering through the countryside, slaying as he went, was the park's limitations. Once a victim was across that bridge, Mr. Giggles couldn't follow. His feet refused to carry him past the entrance. Whatever magic or curse kept him alive also bound him to this place. Mr. Giggles belonged at Giggletime Mountain, after all. But there were plenty of people above ground. He could hear them banging around, traipsing through his park. His hands itched for the axe, closing around a handle that wasn't actually there. The last bits of sun had faded from the window, leaving only darkness streaming through. No more waiting, no more soon. Using the labyrinthine layout of the hidden rooms and tunnels, originally designed so characters could appear and vanish without kids seeing them change, Mr. Giggles made his way out into the windy night. He emerged behind a midway booth, where rings and wooden milk bottles were laid out, both warped with time and weather. A new sound reached Mr. Giggles, something other than the looming storm and intruders. splashing. Next to the booth, facing away from Mr. Giggles, was a man wearing an expensive suit. Given his posture and the sound of liquid hitting canvas, his reason for being here was easy to discern. The axe was the most important thing, but it was an eventual importance, the sort of thing that had to be dealt with even if it wasn't done immediately. If he had to search anyway, Mr. Giggles might as well fulfill his purpose along the way. Grabbing one of the wooden bottles, Mr. Giggles stood, poised and waiting for the piss to finish. He could have smashed the man's unwitting head in, but his arm didn't budge. There was a way these things were done. Unfortunately, the gentleman must have been hitting the saws heavily early on, because he was still producing a substantial stream. Mr. Giggles adjusted his grip, patience waning. The bottle's tip brushed against the tent awning, creating a soft rattle along the metal rings keeping it attached. Somehow, this penetrated the peeing man's senses. He spun around, stream unstopped, and came face to face with Mr. Giggles. In spite of the solid minute he'd already spent emptying himself, the man's stream increased substantially as a horrid scream escaped his lips, terror washing over someone who was in no way ready to face that horrible burned mask. Satisfied at last, Mr. Giggles brought the bottle down, caving the man's skull in with a single blow. He added a few more hits, just to be thorough. After a weight like that, he needed to do the first kill right. When there was more pulp than head remaining, Mr. Giggles dropped the milk bottle and walked away from the tent. He stepped to the middle of the midway, lifting his head and giving it a sniff. The air smelled charged, ready. It was the winds just before a storm. This was always the weather when Mr. Giggles was around. He could smell the source of the charge, too. His axe was deeper in the park, tucked somewhere far away. Before he could find the exact spot, a new smell pressed into his nostrils. Piss. His pants and shoes had been covered by the terrified man's final whiz. It would fade with time. Until then, Mr. Giggles would track the axe as best he could. If more people were in the way, well, he'd have preferred to do it with his axe, but an amusement park offered no shortage of ways to thin out trespassers. A new peal of thunder roared overhead, streaks of lightning firing through the sky. Mr. Giggles had arrived, and with him came the storm. Rain may or may not appear for brief stints. That was never the real show. Searing strikes, burning winds, these were the true markings of his storm. The man and the maelstrom were intertwined, connected, bound and trapped in the same cosmic trunk. Besides the axe, the storm was his only constant. Mr. Giggles set off down the midway, concealed only by natural darkness, sniffing as he went. So many intruders between him and his axe. Perhaps he should have brought along a few milk bottles. Corey was getting night shots of an old racing game with ramps and pennies when she heard the scream. It wasn't just the volume or intensity that scared her. People ran into terrifying shit all the time in places like this, especially the ones who weren't used to such locations. No, what made the sound scary was its brevity. The scream cut off suddenly, without tapering, as if something had happened to the source. Damn it. Think somebody found a place to get hurt? That, or they just found out the executive buffet is out of shrimp. Bernard was already grabbing the gear in spite of his snark. He knew the rules for exploring these sorts of locations, and watching out for one another was a foundation of such a practice. Corey used the handheld camera she was already holding and flicked its bulb, creating a makeshift flashlight. Leading the team, she wound through the midway, hunting for the source of the sound. For a moment, Corey thought she saw movement further down an aisle, but a sudden new smell brought her up short. It smelled like a bar after 1 in the morning, or a college restroom, all of the time. Someone had been peeing nearby. Relief flooded her system as it all clicked into place. Some idiot didn't want to schlep back to the resort bathrooms, so they cut loose here and probably fell into a hole or some such nonsense. Cutting a far more casual pace, Corey swept her camera around, hunting for the source. When the light fell upon a patch of red, she was confused at first. Then she came around the corner and saw the rest of the scene. To her credit, Corey didn't scream. Some of that was because she was forcing her stomach to stay appeased rather than hurling up the terrible dinner. Most of it, however, was self-preservation. This was no accident. There was a bloody murder weapon right next to the body. A scream meant drawing attention, quite possibly the attention of whoever had done this. Taking some time to make sure she got a good shot of the body, she was going to need proof to show someone else, Corey backed away, motioning for Horace and Bernard not to get close. Turning around, she walked up to them, lowering her camera as she did. Quickly and quietly, making no noise and talking to no one else, we need to go back to the hotel, and if I run, be sure you follow. Things are getting exciting on Giggle Time Mountain.
Speaking of exciting, so excited I can't actually speak right now.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That is exciting, all right.
Nice. We have hit my arbitrary goal.
To be honest with y'all, I had set the mental arbitrary goal of 30k, so that just moves us from y'all's to mine. We just keep it rolling.
We don't run out of arbitrary goals.
That's true. It's the joy of them. But holy shit, wow. Just take a moment to celebrate. Thank y'all. That is incredible.
Yeah, nice one, everyone.
Yeah.
That was some generous donations and some steady donations and support from everyone. You guys are great. It's been a party. I have to retire for the evening.
It's getting late over there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've got to get for work tomorrow. But this is a great time to leave. It's like 25 grand. Nice. I will be kept warm tonight by the thought of this awful movie being made and birthed into the world, just as the elders foretold.
No dog food for Victor tonight. That's right. I'm going old Futurama quotes. That's where we
You
are.
know what I'm going to do as well? Before I go to sleep, I'm going to update the piss meter as well. The shingles fluid meter is getting an update. So we can all enjoy that, I suppose. I will leave you to the rest of the fun and games. It's a shame to leave. This is great. But,
yeah, it's a fun one.
I imagine this will be uploaded to the YouTube, so I'll probably just watch it tomorrow. As can anyone else who missed it, I suppose. So that's something to think about. The party never stops. It's on YouTube forever.
Let's see.
Unless it's one of Bevan's one, in which case it might be taken down.
John Judkins asked if there's a running total for Indiegogo plus YouTube and other donations. At the end of all of these streams, we have been moving the YouTube money into the Shingles Fund. So that will...
No, we haven't done that yet.
Not for this one, obviously, because it's happening.
No. Yeah. So when YouTube takes its chomp out of that, we'll just stick it into the Shingles total.
There you go.
Keep you updated on that.
All right. Let's see. So what was the voting direction? Here, I'll bring back up the thing where we're it sounds like we had people putting some money in. Did they specify which direction they wanted to go with any of that?
It looks like down.
Yeah. We
All
got
right.
John Judkins again. It just says simply down.
All right.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
They're running the show.
He knows what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants to go down.
Yeah, and of course, if anybody wants to claim the giant donations and throw us the receipt, the screenshots, You can absolutely get some special treatments, some unlocks, some me eating some direct shit, some double moves. You have paid and can abuse the system as you would like. So pay and abuse the system as you would like. But in the
Make up your own
meantime,
directions.
yeah, you have found a golden chest. Dun dun dun. I don't know why I did the scary music. That is a good thing. Or is it? All right. So you have opened the chest and you have found an old piece of Druhe's content that has fallen out of print. Which one? Well, I made more than one wheel. That's right. I made a prize wheel for this too.
Now I know you love wheels.
I mean, it's not quite to the point of spreadsheets, but it's a growing passion. All right, so some of these are from the Old Roots fairy tale book that is just straight up gone, like not in print, not in digital. I have one copy on my shelf that I have had to keep. And then the other two are from Superpowered's anthology, or Superpowered stories that were in anthologies that have since gone out of print. So, which one will y'all unlock? All right, Fool's Errand. Boop. So, I can make wheels like this in a spreadsheet, but do they automatically spin? Because that would be a thing I would need it to do. All right, so that is one of the Roots fairy tale stories. If you were hoping for one of the superpowered stories instead, I'm not going to say that there's not a way to change those out at the right donation mark. So, in fact, if you're one of the 1,000 donator people and you want to change that story, that's fair. I will 1,000% okay that, because I know some folks are more hoping for those. So I'll just put that clearly out there to start. And all right, so that takes care of that one. Aaron asked what the difference between 60K and a 70K one is. So 45 is the version that wouldn't have Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain. We would do Aliens Wrecked Our Kegger. 60 is the one that would do Slaughter on Giggletime Mountain. 70, as the Dream Fox noted, would be bringing in some professional actors, some names more associated to the horror genre. That is a question that Steve Rosinski could better answer on specifics. Although I actually don't even think even then that he's gone into that, just because until the offers are made and etc., it's not really a thing you would be able to talk about.
Yes, we would find a beloved and veteran horror actor and ruin their career by offering them a shot at being on shingles.
Unfortunately, I'm sure 10K is not enough for Bruce Campbell. Otherwise, we would.
I think their career would already have to be semi-ruined to star in a shingles.
I don't know. I mean, look at the ones who just love acting and being in anything. There was a run where we probably could have gotten Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh.
Because that man just loved being in movies, it seemed.
So Nick Cage, maybe?
I feel like Nick Cage is just Nick Cage always needs money. He always
Right?
needs
I'm
whatever
pretty sure
money he can get his hands on.
I'm pretty sure we could get Eric Roberts.
Will they pay me? Oh, well then.
I'm interested.
Why didn't you say so?
Gotta respect the working actors who are basically like, pay me and I'll bring my A game.
Yeah, you do. It's like, hey, I'm not here trying to make the next Titanic or whatever. I'm just here to make my rent. No shame.
I mean, but what would you rather watch on an afternoon? Snakes on a Plane or Titanic? I leave it up to the audience.
Snakes on a Plane, 1,000%.
Exactly,
Yeah, no
right?
Without
doubt there.
question.
So,
Not even a moment of hesitation. All right, I have adjusted the lighting a little bit to make sure y'all could properly see. So, y'all have got some options for this next move. You have, as you can see, there's a little something still up north, and it looks like there might be a little something south. So, up or down. You cannot go left or right. Those are both walls, so that one is just going to be set. So, vote with your dollars. Let us know which direction you would like to go. We have gotten one of the story contents, but as you saw, there are, of course, several more. All right. I think it is time for us to go back in to Slaughter on Giggle Time Mountain. Something was wrong. Something beyond the loud claps of thunder coming more and more frequently, gently rattling their hiding place. Jester made it a point to be aware of every movement and development his prey went through. It was part of being thorough. One aspect of that had entailed slipping listening devices down at a few spots within the park. They were hardly fancy. Short range and homemade, none would last longer than a day, but that was all the team needed. Listening carefully, the earpiece tucked away under his mask, Jester could hardly believe what he heard. Scanning the room, he looked over his people carefully. A smashed-in head, like what the woman was reporting, would require exceptional strength. Ghoul was out. She was better at precision than brute force. Burlap could have done it, but he never strayed from orders. To say he wouldn't kill someone if needed was preposterous. He just would have let Jester know afterward. That only left Wolf, which was a problem. Wolf might be strong enough, and could be unpredictable at times, but he was terrible at covering evidence. To achieve splatter like what they were describing and walk in here without so much as a speck of blood on his clothes or a shadow of worry in his eyes. Either it wasn't Wolf, or the man had been a secret mastermind all along. No, the team probably hadn't been part of this killing. It simply didn't line up with what Jester saw, and he was a man who trusted his observations. That meant there was another killer here with them. Perhaps it was a crime of passion. Maybe they had some true competition. Regardless, this changed things for them significantly. Burlap, blow up the bridge right now. Wolf and Ghoul looked over to Jester uncertainly, while Burlap took out a device and began hitting switches. That was what Jester liked about Burlap. The man followed orders without hesitation. For the others, he continued explaining. Best they knew the new situation. Someone has been killed already. Head crushed in with an old Midway prop. There's a woman trying to report it to security, although they appear to think she's making some sort of ploy. Eventually they'll take it seriously, though, and when that happens, we need to be ready. As soon as word gets out, people will try to call for help and find that all communications are down, not just cell phones. After that, they'll run for the bridge. Better take it out now, since the cover is already blown. Tentatively, Wolf spoke up. Should we consider bailing instead? If there's another body, they'll know something is up. We won't have surprise on our side anymore. You're always saying we need to work smart. In a way, Wolf had him. Staying put was not the smart call, strictly speaking. But opportunities like this hunt came along rarely, and plans didn't necessarily have to be scrapped as soon as one element went awry. Besides, they had an easy escape method the moment things got too dangerous. Taking their time and assessing the situation certainly had merit. Jester didn't bother sharing all that with Wolf, however. Most of it would have gone over the man's head. Instead, Jester merely pointed over to Burlap. Perhaps, but since Burlap just detonated the only mundane means of escape, we're momentarily stuck here. Once they find both the body and the bridge, panic will set in, making our movements more difficult. All we have to do is wait patiently for opportunities to present themselves. If none do, we'll take our leave when the chaos subsides. And what about the other killer? Ghoul asked. Planning to just let them run around loose? It depends. Jester hadn't quite decided on that option yet. If it was just some jealous lover or vengeful colleague, then there was no point in getting excited. On the other hand, if their opponent was another professional, this could be interesting. Outside of his recruiting efforts, Jester had never met another person quite like himself. Even his teammates were mere imitations, the best he could scrounge up. Someone else with the vision and ambition to set off on their own? How much fun would they be to kill? True, the scene described was grisly and spoke to inexperience. However, a trained specialist could make their murders appear any way they wanted. People would underestimate a mindless brute, a mistake Jester had no intention of making. If we can use this new element to our advantage, we can steer clear and let them rampage. If they get in our way, they become just another victim. Jester hefted up the axe from the floor, giving it a quick twirl in his hands. On the chance we have another copycat, I've even got the perfect weapon to do them in with. Hopefully, they have enough taste to appreciate the historical touch. The pair had snuck off during dinner, making their way into one of the abandoned food stalls. Finding space without dust and cobwebs took work, but having more than a few drinks helped them not to care so much. Together, they found a plastic-covered bench next to a deep fryer, still stocked with spoiled oil. Ripping the cover away revealed simple wood, yet it may as well have been $1 million mattress, so glad were they to find a clean surface. Shirts came off, pants and skirt followed soon. Her purse knocked over, exposing a picture of a smiling husband, perhaps a bit less handsome than he had been before getting sick. The man had no picture of a wife he was betraying. He considered himself single and unattached, although the 2 kids in various states who'd never met their father might have told him differently. Just as he was reaching for the bra, his companion put a hand on his chest. "Did you piss yourself?" "Wait, what? Why would I do that? I doubt I even could." Glancing down, the man confirmed that he was indeed in a state that would make urinating quite difficult. Yet as he looked, he also sniffed, and there was indeed a noticeable scent in the air. "Oh God, I do smell it, though. Must be some kind of animal." At his angle, he could only see his companion stiffen as a shadow fell across her face. Whipping around, the man found himself face to face with a pink rabbit head that had been charred black in several places. Reaching out, the behemoth grabbed the deep fryer, sparks flying from his hand and lighting up the machine. He flipped it on top of them, pinning both. The oil, formerly sludge, was starting to heat up somehow, even though there was no way the machine should be running. A thick, oozing drip slipped out, splattering on the floor. The pinned man's eyes went wide as he watched the rabbit-headed monster take a container of old oil and dump it all over them, as well as the fryer keeping the couple pinned to the bench. From nearby, he took a box of matches, lighting one with the first strike. There was barely time for the couple to scream before the match fell, but they managed it all the same. Seconds later, there was only the burning food stall lighting up the night, casting a floppy-eared shadow of the man slowly walking away. And now we're really living up to the slasher part of this. All right. How have things been going while I was reading?
Few more dollars on the Indiegogo.
Let's...
No.
And it looks like Ben is wanting to activate some of his money powers. So.
Ooh.
Mm.
Activating
Ben,
money power.
powers activate! That was a direct quote from the YouTube. It's beautiful. I tried to reenact it as best as I could.
Um. All right. Well, let me go see what Ben wants to use those money powers on. Diagonal down left. Okay. So sounds like he wants to. Let's pull up. All right. This is an interesting one. And it's a good time. All right. So you have found the troll. Oh, hang on. I need to move this. There we go, like that. So I'm gonna move him here, but you should still be able to see him. In fact, here, let me make sure he's putting off some light. Oh well. All right. So you have found the troll. Roll the old deal. The troll is unfair. I would recommend not taking the troll's riddle. The troll is definitely going to. If you were a normal person, the troll would smash your head in. But this is the Thunder Pair Publishing basement, and you are a Thunder Pair Publishing employee, which means, by law, within these realms, the troll must let you pass. However, he does offer to allow you to take the riddle.
Also, Ben is protected by the power of money.
Yeah, the money power. Whoa, whoa, whoa! You smell like a big spender, sir. Let me ask you if you would be interested in a riddle. So the troll will ask a riddle. It'll be one riddle. We'll have to do this on a timer because the simple fact of the internet means that anything I ask without a timer it means you could just look it up. And honestly, if you don't know it, you're probably not gonna know it. It's one of those. It's massively unfair. I would recommend not taking it. The only thing I will say is it's my favorite riddle, and I'm pretty positive I've talked about it on the podcast at least once or twice. So, this is a little bit of a real deep dive trivia trick. I was about to get to that. So, the riddle will give you double speed if you can pass it. But the rule for the troll is he takes away one of your light sources, and y'all have not found any additional light sources, which means if you don't get it, you're going to be walking entirely in the dark until you can find another one. But you don't have to decide this round. And again, the troll is unfair. That's the point of trolls. But he does represent a high risk, high reward opportunity. So, I have moved you to the troll space, as Ben's Money Power asks. Y'all can vote. And again, as always with the monies. So, next round, you can answer the riddle or make a move. So, answering the riddle is its own sort of move vote. I'm glad we have Ruby here. I feel like if there's one person who might actually know my random bullshit enough to be able to pull this one out.
There's so much to sift through.
I know. And again, I cannot drive this home enough. This is not a fair riddle. It is literally meant to be unanswerable. So, if you choose to answer it, you do not look to me and say you're surprised, all right? I'm being super upfront on this. Trolls are not fair.
I will warn you, it looks like the chat is leaning towards doing it. So I
Well,
don't know if your warnings are falling on deaf ears, but I'm loving this.
Well,
Ben says, "Don't underestimate our ability to make poor decisions." Hear, hear.
That's very true. Well, I will say, remember, the votes cast with donations attached are the ones we count. So, if you really want to answer that riddle or you really don't, either vote for a direction or vote for answer. But I am going to run to the restroom because I've been going for a few chapters now.
Everyone drink.
Everyone drink.
And in case I don't know if the group is in on it, but this is a little game I play when I hang out with Drew, which is every time he goes to the restroom, I drink. So I would encourage others responsibly to join in on that activity if they're able to. So, Rick, I see you're here, but muted. How are things going on your end of the country? Or not? Also an option? Oh man, I've never had like an audience like this before. So, what should we discuss? I hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday. As mentioned when I first got on, I am tearing down literal parts of my new abode today. So that's what I'm up to. If anyone is really good at demolition and building and has hints, let me know. I've done some small work, but nothing quite like this. So
What kind of demo?
right now I'm just doing for now kitchen cabinets. I will also be doing floors and a shower. I'm getting real into it these days.
Yeah, we it's a demolition weekend here too. Pretty much.
Wow.
Well, my basement got hit hard with Ida, so it's been
Oh
yeah.
no.
So today we went down and tore down the walls and tore down the moldy drywall, and that was all fun.
Well, yours sounds necessary. Now I feel like a jackass because mine is by choice. Well,
Well,
the
no,
shower's
my choice,
leaking.
my
That's
choice
not
is
entirely
cool.
choice.
When she's finished with hers, she could come here and do ours.
You want to fly me out there? Maybe.
I'll fly you out here. You, because I sure as hell don't want to do it.
It is not. Yeah, our shower leaks, so that part is not entirely choice. There's
Yeah.
water.
We know exactly how that is. That is like the thing. That is the thing about owning a home that sucks is that stuff breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you just make all this stuff last forever?
Right, and then I gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
And I still got everything else to pay for. No, yeah, not my favorite.
That's not fair, you know? Stuff breaks. It's like, why do I have to pay for it?
There's some tips coming in. We have check for wires and pipes. That sounds like a life pro tip. Thank you. Never look for wires. I just grab them if I see them.
The Klaus method.
Is this wire live? Let me do the tongue test and find out.
Ooh, if I'm still alive tomorrow, it was not.
I think we definitely know the tongue is not the test that Klaus does. Oh goodness. All right. So while everyone is voting on whether or not to tackle the riddle, I saw some folks asking if it was certain ones. I'm obviously not going to answer that. That defeats the entire purpose of this. So y'all just have to make the decision with the information that y'all have been given. And a reminder, especially on these where things get real critical, the donation votes are the ones that we tally. So put a little green bow on that to make sure it is counted. All right, we are into Chapter 9, by the way. I have not been saying the chapter numbers of these, and I probably should have been. Thick, slamming waves roamed the water, like a pack of muggers hunting for some unsuspecting soul they could force below the surface. Despite the lack of rain, there was definitely a storm rolling through, with enough wind to stir up the river even worse than normal. On top of that, it was clearly raining somewhere because the speed of the current had increased substantially, none of which should have been a problem, since they were planning to drive right over it. Unfortunately, the chunks of concrete still occasionally splashing down below betrayed the issue. There was now a serious gap between the bridge and the amusement park. If someone was very athletic and feeling extremely confident, they might be able to leap across. But if they failed, they were in for the swim of a lifetime. Probably very literally. The storm must have messed up the bridge. Ajax had rejoined them, thrust onto the team after they had reported finding a dead body. Most likely, the higher-ups were worried about Corey and her team causing trouble, but in truth, she was glad for the addition. The film hadn't been as high a quality as she was hoping, making it hard to convince everyone with footage alone. Once they checked the actual scene, accusations and suspicion would start flying. Having an alibi generator with her at all times wasn't the worst situation for an outsider, especially one who'd found a corpse. That assumed there would be more trouble, of course. And as Corey stared out at the churning waves, her gut told her that was definitely in the cards. You think a storm did this? The river is high, but not that high, and the kind of wind you need to tear it up would have knocked us down before we came this close. Maybe a lightning strike could be viable if there were scorch marks or any other sign of the remaining concrete. As it stands, this storm is just about the only entity I can say with certainty isn't responsible for this. Bernard had a camera in his hand as he spoke, with the wrong voice because I didn't read that part yet, dutifully recording all that lay before them. The man was a professional, on top of his tech expertise. Despite the calm tones, Ajax still gulped visibly. "You're saying someone did this?" "Bernard can be a little rough around the edges," Horace said, stepping in with a reassuring smile. "He's just saying the storm didn't cause this. There are still plenty of other, non-panic-inducing explanations." From further back, Corey caught the sound of screams. When she turned her head, a plume of smoke, thin and already fading, was rising through the sky. This was an old park. Accidents happened. A fire didn't necessarily mean... No, that was self-delusion. She was in danger, if not from a killer, then from a deeply defective park, and ignoring that wouldn't make them any safer. Part of exploring dangerous locales meant accepting the truth as it was and moving forward. It was the only way to keep a cool head, and they would need clear thinking in a situation like this. Okay, so the bridge is down, one person got their head smashed in, and it sure looks like something behind us caught fire. If we were to entertain the idea that another Mr. Giggles has shown up to kill everyone, what would the next move be? My cell still has no bars, and so far as I know, this was the only way out of here. You could try scaling the cliff to the west. Ajax was breathing heavily, his pale skin gleaming with sweat. There was probably a lot more than he'd been expecting to deal with here. But it's steeper and sheer. The park had to install multiple safety fences after some people tumbled down in the first year. Probably hasn't gotten better. Bernard was testing his own cell, finding it as useless as Corey's. What about a landline? This place is old, so they must have some. That seemed to calm Ajax, albeit slightly. Right, there are landlines at every major building. All we have to do is reach one, and we can call for help. Racing back into the park, where fires and bodies were appearing, was hardly Corey's favorite nighttime activity, but it beat standing in the open with nowhere to run except into raging waters. Besides, if they happened to get a shot of the new Mr. Giggles, the video would essentially make itself viral. The numbers and quality of their offers would shoot up significantly. Still, Corey found herself hoping she walked out of this with as little video as possible. Meeting a serial killer wouldn't be worth it, no matter how desirable the shot. Horace, you've got the best memory for our locations. What's the nearest major building? Rubbing the back of his neck, Horace looked out at the dark park. From the layouts we studied, there's a building not too far off the houses and entrances consoles for these 3 rides. While there's no guarantee they would have a phone, it's on our way back to the hotel. We could skip it and run back through the rooms, or roll the dice and see what they've got. Your call, boss. More noise was coming from the park, and it sure sounded like people screaming. Could be from the fire, or could be they'd found the smashed head of their coworker, or it could be other reasons. Being on their own was risky, but Corey had little faith in the sense of a panicking crowd. At least Ajax was keeping it semi-together, and she trusted her team not to buckle so easily. The faster, the better. Besides, there's bound to be someone at the hotel trying the phones. Let's swing by the other building first. Even if it's redundant, it beats standing around like this, wondering what to do. Horace, lead the way. They cut a brisk pace from the churning waves, still swirling and inviting any who felt daring to come dance in their cold depths. In a way, the river was merciful. True, it offered death, yet at least it would be a relatively swift one. compared to some of the compared to some of the killings Giggletime Mountain had borne witness to, the idea of a quick death could be seen as downright merciful. Oh, beer is not great for a throat mid-read, I learned on that one. Did not help me midway through that chapter at all. Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the most soothing.
not a brilliant move on my
You
part.
got to do the Bob method and just power through it.
Power through the beer?
Yeah, if that one doesn't get the job done, the next one will.
All right. Where were the votes put?
So there was $5 towards no riddle, but then or earlier, I believe Big Bucks Ben is the one who said to do it. So we have more votes and possibly more funds towards riddling is what it looks like.
I would say Ben does definitely have special treatment. He can do some diagonals and skip some stuff, but you know the will of the group still has to be respected. And
It
it's
looks overall
and
like
so
riddles.
but who put money? The will of the paying group. Sorry, I should have been clear.
Oh, okay. Well,
Remember, Ruby, this is a fundraiser.
right. I didn't know if his big donation still stood. That was
Oh,
why I threw
absolutely.
that out there.
He's got special treatment. But I think for making the general moves, we still give some credit all around. So there's been $5 put toward not riddling, but that didn't give us a direction. Ben voted for
Just
riddling.
stand there and ignore the troll.
And you can just be like, just pretend we didn't see that.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the game board back up. All right,
That would be a bold choice. Stand there and just in uncomfortable silence.
just burn a turn.
Close my eyes. Just close my eyes.
So right now we just have $5 standing on no riddle, and we have, but no one has voted for a direction either. So, if y'all want to throw, I don't know, any sort of amount of money on a direction to move your character on the next round, or I guess if you really want to take the riddle and want to drop more than $5, we will kind of sit here and relax for a minute and catch up as I rest my throat, and y'all can shoot the shit for a moment.
We have $5 towards a riddle and left. And we also have a 99 cents attached to no. And just for record, there is a bit of a delay for the people watching, so
Okay.
it'll take a minute.
That is all right. You know what? I should probably go ahead and just get more water. It'll be a good wait for a moment.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like we're tied, essentially. Or riddle and no riddle. What an interesting conundrum.
Fight for it. Fight.
Da, 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 da. For all my Star Trek fans out there. Da, 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 da.
Oh, that would be awesome if somebody just jumped in the stream with a Vulcan Lurpa.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
God, I don't know
Oh.
why I know the name of that weapon.
Yeah, now I feel like, now I've got to Google it, and then it's, oh my goodness. It looks like no riddling is taking the lead. We had a 5 to riddle left, 99 cents to riddle. Then we had another 10 from Aaron to move to the right, and that was a vote for no riddle. And then another 6 for no riddle and left. And now another $2 for the riddle. And this is where I remind myself I'm terrible at math, and I open a calculator because I feel like I'm going to lose track. But so far, no riddle.
So far, no
is
riddle.
Winning. So far, no riddle.
And so far, it looks like no riddle and
Left.
yeah, because left is still got $11 toward it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Aaron put 10 towards right,
Yes.
but left. But is it overall? One's riddle and left, one's no riddle and left for just $1 more. So does that pull us more to the right?
I
Hmm.
think that
really
pulls
are
us more
fighting
toward the
with us.
left, I'd say.
Hmm.
Because that's a cumulative $11 toward left,
Got it.
but still more cumulatively set
Still
toward no riddle.
no
Yeah.
riddle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
There was a $20, 21 for no riddle, and then a 20 for riddle. So I still believe it's no riddle.
Oh no, I think Jen's was just
Oh,
saying
she's
cumulatively
commenting. Yeah.
up to.
Yes,
She was saying
point
up
it
to
out.
21 for no riddle. So now that 20. So I think that 21 was just what we had so far, and now Saragranex has now done 20. On oh God, now we're getting hard on a riddle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so now we just had 35 come in for riddle.
Mhm.
Tamara Grunwald just threw in 10, but Tamara, you got to let us know. Do you want that toward riddle or no riddle?
This is like Riddle Thunderdome here.
We don't need another hero.
This is the fun of
Need another hero. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do that background. I'm too loud. Riddle Dome.
Two trolls enter, one troll
All right,
leaves.
so Tamara was another 10 for riddle. Okay, I think it seems pretty clear. Riddle is strongly in front right now.
Oh,
I've
wow.
lost count, but riddle is running away with it. So
It is, yeah.
it is. Okay, so here is how we're gonna do riddle. I'm gonna run. Hang on. I'm gonna time myself how long it takes to type knowing the answer, just so I can set a fair amount of time. Okay, 10 seconds is plenty.
Remember the delay.
Yes. But it'll all work for the same, because I'm gonna hold up my phone. I'm gonna just show the 10-second countdown. And basically once they see it, that will be. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna hit it, and then the delay will get factored in. So, but if you know it, Ruby, you can also answer.
And if I don't, we're not actually friends. It's a terrible test.
Okay. So the riddle for this one is: how is a raven like a writing desk? All right, and now I'm gonna go watch it on the YouTube feed, so I know when it runs out there.
Did answer that.
So as a reminder for anyone who's not familiar, this is from Alice in Wonderland, specifically as a what do you call it? An impossible riddle. And I love it. It's my favorite riddle because there is an actual perfect answer to it.
Bullets are flammable.
And you know what? Slightly behind the timer, but she used a long enough write out that I completely believe it. Michaela got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, well done. The answer is Poe wrote on both. How is a raven like a writing desk? Poe wrote on both.
Yay.
Well done. Okay. So, you now have activated double speed as the troll gives you a magic blessing. All right. Wow. So, with double speed, I think left is still where most of the money was lying when we left off, if I am remembering correctly.
I'm scrolling back up. left, I believe, cumulatively, if we
Yeah, left.
not to use to trigger anyone, but to divorce it from the riddle versus no riddle.
You know what? I think that will probably work out pretty well anyway, because 2 spaces left. Oh nope, I need to move it over here. Gosh darn it. 1 potato, 2 potato. So you have found another chest.
Awesome.
Which means it's time to open it up and see what we find.
Hopefully booze.
Well, that's not really up to me.
Caprese salad stick. Caprese salad stick.
Even better.
Okay. Boop. There we go. So now it should be a little more visible, but let's make this thing throw off some light. All right, you have found another of the Drew Try Stuff wheels. Woo! Boop!
Salad stick, salad stick, salad stick.
Oh, more cheese. Thanks.
Wheel of Eats! Wheel of Eats! All right, where's the button that spins this thing? Oh, I guess I should take off wine gums real quick, because we already have seen wine gums. Wine gums removed. All right, now there's just the mystery stuff left. And here we go.
Sorry, making the own sound effects.
Oh, we got a moonshine. We got a moonshine.
Yes!
God help me. We got hazelnut rum moonshine.
Maybe?
Hazelnut rum moonshine? Isn't that kind of like a... Doesn't it cancel each other out or something?
I mean, the best moonshines I've ever had came from a gentleman selling them out of the back of his truck with a bunch of like very flavors, apple pie, pina colada, delicious, amazing things that just absolutely fucking destroyed us as human beings. It was a wild crawfish boil. All right. Whoa, no, I got to turn my camera back on. Okay, so. Oh, God, every time. It's the. If anyone's a fan of Moonshiners, I saw that they had some of the stuff from the show, and so I was like, what the hell?
How much is in there?
Oh, I'm not doing all of this. I'm going to try some of this. I am not going to. This is like a 20s. So like here, you know what? We can actually do this like the rings of a tree here. Late 20s Drew, mid 20s Drew, early 20s Drew.
Right now, we need another $1,000, donation that comes in and just says, "Finish it all."
Oh God. I would have to be turning off the camera and getting a bucket probably.
Ooh.
I mean, it's still moonshine, but that's pretty damn pleasant, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah. Whew. I mean,
That
again.
sounds... Yeah, okay.
I'm prefacing, it's still fucking moonshine. Like, this ain't goddamn alchemy. Like, it's... Yeah. Look, I'll put this away.
Well, before you start another chapter, this is where I take my exit. My hammer is calling my name, and I need to get back to destruction. But
well, we
this
thank
has
you
been
for
amazing.
Thank you for coming by. We appreciate you stopping in.
Yeah.
This has been the best break of my day. I should have stopped drinking during, but I didn't. So
Why would you stop drinking during this?
Because again, distraction. But this is great with a hammer. So I hope y'all have a great, lovely rest of this, and I'll be listening.
Thank you, thank
Good.
you.
Good luck with your destruction.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Oh, it has been very clear that we are not going to finish this book today. I hope y'all. But if you'd like to see the end of it, it is available on Kindle Unlimited, Amazon, and there's an awesome audio version done by Cal Wemberly, who might sound familiar to some of y'all. Ignore that. Or go listen to some of the, the Authors and Dragons interviews we've done with various narrators for no associated reason. I'm not giving you a name. You have to check them all. Oh. Yeah, that is still moonshine. Let's see. John Judkins asks, will I drink more moonshine for more money? Hey, as we have said several times throughout this stream, you can have whatever you want for money. But I am going to say that the cost to get me to drink more is going to build with every time I do it. Because, again, 30's true. Mid-30's true. Oh.
Good.
Whew. Well, I am warm in my belly now.
Oh.
Chapter 10. Oh, sorry, hang on. Getting all discombobulated. Y'all need to be able to see the game board and make your next decision. So, just for reference, let's make sure y'all can. Okay, hang on. We're gonna shift this a little bit. Just to make sure y'all are kind of getting the best representation of what you can see. There we go. Okay. So, at this point, you can go down. You can go down. You can go left. You could go right, which would take you back to a direction you have been. Yeah, those are pretty much y'all's options at this point. So, please be sure to vote as we go, and I am going to read. Oh, I took my doggone bookmark out. Well, I'll find it. 10. All right. Let's see. It looks like the running total for the next moonshine shot is up to $15. Which, yes, Jess Henning, I do remember you throwing in that 10 earlier, and Drotalks Audiobooks has put in another 5, and I'm going to let y'all know that we are not there yet. So I'm going to read chapter 10. Y'all can vote on down or left, or right if y'all want to go visit the troll again. Or I guess right if y'all want to go see, I guess you could go down and right. If you have a specific one, you're really going to have to donate, because, damn. The time for hiding was at an end. Although the presence of an intruder had certainly sped up their timetable, Jester felt no anger at the interloper. Surprises and coping with the unexpected were part of this lifestyle. If Jester were not prepared for such things, then the failing would be his. Such was not the case, as he led the others along a shadowy aisle that had once held an array of shops stocked with overpriced souvenirs. From not too far off, they could hear the shouts and yells of their prey. With one body already in play, it wasn't hard to figure out what they would discover at the source of the flames. After that, it would be a predictable slide into chaos and panic as the thin veneer of civilization slipped away, revealing the animals lurking beneath. Accusations would fly, old grudges and suspicions would be unearthed, By the night's end, they might well kill more than one another out of fear for what Jester's team could ever hope to manage. Oh, I definitely read that wrong. Humans were such pointless, predictable creatures. They lacked the capacity to surprise, or at least to surprise someone like Jester. In a sense, that was where this had all started. Supposedly in a crisis, the greater part of the human soul was said to emerge. Courage, honor, brave heroics, the sorts of things most of this chaff would be incapable of on a given day. Jester wanted to see if the lowly truly did have it in them to be better when a situation turned dire. Thus far in his experiments, there was no such luck. Sometimes there were brave ones, of course, but they had shown such traits beforehand. It was the surprise, the ability to break free from one's own character, that Jester had wanted to witness. Luckily enough, the experiments had proved entertaining in other ways, and a new passion was kindled. "Can we set up the haunted house first?" Wolf asked. I'd really like to get some of these where the crowd is thick." Jester opted not to visibly bristle at the words. Wolf had managed to keep his volume in check this time, so chastising him could send the wrong message. "That decision belongs to Ghoul. With the new situation, do you think you can still lure people in?" She took her time responding, giving the situation proper contemplation. "I think I can swing it, but I can't promise how many I'll pull at once. Also, I'm going to need Burlap's help." "In the haunted house, numbers will have little meaning. The array of paths, not to mention the employee passages we have found on the blueprints, will permit us freedom of movement. Short of drawing the entire company at once, we should be able to handle however many you can bring." Jester swept the axe through the air once, enjoying the feeling of it in his hands. While not normally a fan of specific tools, this one had a nice weight. He might even have to break his rule about not taking souvenirs. Blinking, Jester took a step back from that last thought. He was considering breaking one of his most fundamental rules for a simple axe. How preposterous! Yet at the thought of setting the weapon down, his whole body balked. Something was amiss here, an element he'd yet to discern. Rather than being bothered, Jester felt the closest thing to joy he was capable of. Perhaps tonight would have a few surprises in store after all. Mr. Giggles jammed the sleeve of a cotton candy cone deeper into his victim's throat, eliciting a half-choked gurgle before the balding man slumped over, clearly dead. Another kill, yet he was no closer to his axe. Tilting his head back, he gave a tentative sniff. Mostly it just stank of piss, thanks to the stains on Mr. Giggles' clothing, but he could catch a few whiffs of the axe. Up until now, it had been in one direction. The scent had shifted during his last kill, though. It was moving, back toward the section with walking attractions. Whoever had his axe also possessed good taste. Mr. Giggles had killed many a soul in that area. Tonight, it seemed he would add a few more to the count. Steadily, leaving the body behind, he began traipsing off toward the thieves who would pay for taking his weapon. "Help me!" The voice came from a set of dark buildings, breaking up the casual chatter of the bankers. They'd skipped out on the post-dinner socializing, instead opting to sneak off somewhere where they wouldn't need to share any of their designer drugs. All talks of plans for their next luxury sex tour of a third-world nation were scrapped as they caught sight of a beautiful woman bolting from the shadows. Her clothing was ripped in a few strategic places, but it hadn't given up the ghost quite yet. "Please hurry! I need help!" Several steps behind her, a hulking man wearing a burlap sack over his head stepped into view. He reached down, grabbing the woman by the arms. In spite of his size, she was able to put up a fight, yanking her limbs away as she looked over to them, lovely eyes wide and pleading. "Save me!" That shook them out of their reverie, snapping into motion. True, the man was big, but they had the advantage of numbers. Plus, if that slip of a woman could hold him off, he clearly wasn't that strong. Unfortunately, just as they sprang into action, the kidnapper managed to blow to the woman's head, knocking her unconscious. He half carried, half dragged the now limp lady back into the shadows, managing to disappear through the entrance of a haunted house before the group arrived. Do we keep chasing? Did you see that chick? Fuck yes, we chase. Wouldn't mind her owing me some gratitude, and that big bastard could barely move her. We'll take them in no time. Some of it was bravado. A lot of it was cocaine. Regardless, with absolute confidence, the bankers all plunged through the door, giving themselves over to the haunted house. All right.
I love that line. Some of it was bravado, most of it was cocaine.
Yeah, a lot of it was cocaine. All right. Let's see. What is our comment section saying? Or voting? Oh, I should also refresh the Indiegogo. All right, we are refreshed. And yes, Sargon, I did build this on Roll20. If any of you are following this without being aware, I do a podcast with Rick and several other comedy fantasy authors called Authors and Dragons. Might have come up.
Yeah, we might have mentioned it once or twice.
Yeah, I say that, but then again, we always do get people who are surprised here and there. So
yeah, social media just sucks for getting the word out sometimes.
All right. I only see one vote on a movement, and no one has voted with their dollars. So far, the free vote is going to determine it. It's a shame. It's a goddamn shame. Oh. Yeah, I made a map that is much bigger than it needs to be, if I'm being honest. Much bigger. I think I posted in our Slack this morning that it reminded me of R.E. Carr when she did her first Calamity Jane's game. Made so many more maps than ever got touched.
She made like a year's worth of maps.
Truly, like, honest to God, probably a year's of gaming's worth of maps.
But you know, when you're getting ready to do something, it seems like it's going to move so much faster. And then when reality hits, you're like, oh.
Then the players get involved. You
Yep.
go, ooh, potatoes. All right. Let's see. All right. So it looks like y'all are voting for left and left. Oh, and I see we had a pay-in one come in, so that sets that pretty straightforward. All right. Get that over there. Okay, you are going to go left and left. Nope, nope. Got to do it on the correct map so it populates. There we go. 1 and 2. And what could that be? That is near thee. Yeah, actually, we're kind of coming up on the end here pretty soon, so I'll give y'all the extra movement. It's a chest. You want to guess what's in this one, Rick?
I'm hoping more eats. I want those caprese salad sticks.
Oh boy. Well, too bad, bud. Because it's a mimic.
Damn it.
It's supposed to be. Here, you go away.
Have you ever considered treating your employees better?
Better.
You send this poor intern down into the basement, like trolls and mimics down there.
Yeah, he's just an intern. I'm not doing this to real employees. I don't know why it's staying obscured when I bring this over. It's not supposed to. Well, anyway, it's a mimic. And the effects are going to depend on whether or not I can get the effects that are supposed to work working. Kind of.
Say there's gonna be a sign out, like in front of Thunder Pair Publishing. Nobody wants to work. It's like, one, you're not paying your interns anything. Two, you should stick mimics on them.
All right, there we go. I've been turned into a monster.
Oh, you did take a shower.
Rawr. Okay, hang on. There we go. Hey everybody, I'm a monster pumpkin. How's it going? A very glitchy monster pumpkin. Is it better if I give him a background?
Sure.
Hey, that actually is more stable. All right. Good enough. So, yeah, you have activated a mimic, and the mimic has activated a trap, and the trap is that I'm going to be apparently both this and glitchy. Really glitchy. Hang on. There's got to be a better background. There we go. So Tamara just came back from eating Wisdra a pumpkin because y'all found a mimic. And the mimic made me into a pumpkin for the next chapter. Rawr. Alright, y'all, and I think this very well might be our final chapter, because I think we're going to have to wrap around 7. If there is anything you want me to eat from the prize wheel that I have not eaten, I'm going to... Nope, that's the wrong one. I'm going to bring up the Wheel of Eats. Wheel of Eats.
Caprese salad sticks.
Yeah. If there's anything...
I'm obsessed with these things now.
So, I guess rather than voting on a move, if there's anything you want me to try, we're up to $15 on another sip of moonshine. We're not ending now, John Judkins. We're doing a chapter, and then we're going to do some final closing out stuff. So, part of that is if you want me to try any of these on the wheel, throw in some direct money, and by God, we'll probably do it at the closing. If there's anything you would like to ask, see, spend your money for. All right, we have $10 toward caprese salad. I will keep that in mind after I finish my current pumpkin chapter. Oh, someone threw $100 in the Shingles the Movie Indiegogo too.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to speak up and say caprese salad sticks.
Well, we will see what they want after chapter 11. The decor of the haunted house had once been cheesy, but years of rotting and negligence had accomplished what an unpaid summer intern couldn't, making this place genuinely unsettling. Wallpaper was curling down from the ceiling, dust covered near every surface, and various decayed props littered the area, making it impossible to know what was real and what was trash. Pulling out their cell phones, the men lit up the dark interior. Even if there was no coverage here, those $1,000 devices made decent substitute flashlights. There were several different routes they could take, stairs to the left, a hall to the right, and what appeared to be a cracked open door in front of them. One of the few whose minds wasn't entirely lost in the cocaine blizzard had enough sense to look down for footprints in the dust. Nothing there. Fuck. Guys, did we hallucinate that whole thing? He turned to find the others already sprinting off, none of them in a mental place where standing around and talking felt like a good move. Seeing them scatter, this one opted to try the door right before them. Once he cleared the room, he could follow the others, or just leave and do another bump. Probably the second one. With the woman out of sight, he was having trouble thinking this was all worth the effort. Shoving open the door, he found himself staring at a huge mechanical vampire. Half the plastic of its face warped and drooping. It must have been intended to spring out and scare guests, but whatever mechanisms were in place had long ago failed, or there wasn't even enough power being supplied to this section of the park. The monster did give him a start, which was why it took him several seconds to notice the pain in his neck. Like a bug bite, only worse. As he slid to the ground, his vision shifted, giving him a look at an alcove just behind the door, where a man in a cheap werewolf mask had been hiding. While one hand moved the door back to its original position, the other held an empty syringe. A last drop of green liquid splashed down from the needle to the floor. Now don't you worry, that's just going to keep you nice and still while I have my fun. Holy shit! Wolf's terrifying speech was immediately cut off as the businessman he'd injected him with began to spasm and convulse. The serum shouldn't have done that. The only time they'd seen anything like this was when someone had other drugs in their system. Looking closer, Wolf noted the dusting of white around the nostrils. Blood trickled out from the man's lips, and just like that, the convulsions ended. He was dead, and that was the goal, but it had been somewhat lackluster for Wolf's tastes. They were supposed to be able to enjoy themselves, and Ghoul was expecting him to bring her a victim, since she'd been tasked with bait duty. The woman was not forgiving when disappointed. New sounds came from outside. Fresh footsteps. Working fast, Wolf dragged the corpse out of the way and readied his next syringe. Using more drugs was a risk, but Jester would far prefer dead bodies to someone living long enough to raise a ruckus. Disappointing Ghoul was scary. Disappointing Jester was not fucking happening. Needle in hand, Wolf waited, hoping the newcomer would wander into his trap. Sniffing, his face pinched. Had the businessman pissed himself in the convulsions? It sure stank of whiz in here all of a sudden. Dust rose from the floor at Mr. Giggle's heavy footsteps. From his shoulders, sparks flew when they came too close to the wiring. Lights began to flicker dimly, the few bulbs that had any life left to give, and a very slow recording of a witch cackle started playing, the reduced speed making it far more unsettling than the original. His axe was here. He could smell it. This close he could practically feel it. Where, though? That was the question. Mr. Giggles was not a creature of tactical consideration. There was only one way he knew to search. One room at a time, piece by piece. He slammed through the doorway, coming face to face with a sagging-faced vampire. At his proximity, more sparks flew, and one of the vampire's eyes lit up. The jaw began to lower, exposing a pair of metal fangs with fading paint, and a mouth that showed exposed wires if one looked deep enough. A force pushed Mr. Giggle's neck, and he turned around to find a man in a werewolf mask holding some kind of needle. Behind him was a corpse with blood running from its mouth. Mr. Giggles didn't remember killing this one. Mr. Giggles never forgot a murder. Someone else had done the deed, and without any showmanship whatsoever. Movement grabbed his attention, the werewolf backpedaling now. Holy shit, there really is a copycat. Listen, man, sorry about the syringe. How about instead of torture, I take you to the boss while it wears off? I bet he'd love a chat with you. Mr. Giggles did not like this man. Killing in his park was bad enough. Killing this way, practical over theatrical, was blasphemy. Without a word, he reached down and grabbed the werewolf by his shoulder, heaving the small man up without effort. Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck? How about some professional courtesy, you sack of shit? Mr. Giggles ignored the rising squeals. Instead, he grabbed the werewolf's head, pulling it back to expose the throat. With a forceful slam, he drove that neck deep up into the exposed vampire fangs, gouging deep into the werewolf's throat. There was screaming, as usual, but it soon turned to gurgling. Using uncharacteristic delicacy, Mr. Giggles set the werewolf down atop the vampire's outstretched arms. Blood ran from the throat, creating a growing puddle on the floor. Mr. Giggles admired the work before he left the room. He could still feel the axe, and there was more searching to do, and potentially more pretenders to vanquish. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of the Wheel of Eats, bring back the Discord as I try to get my camera back to normal. We'll see how it goes. Ayo! Made it back. Alright. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, throw up my fun graphic one last time, and then I will be back to eat whatever remains.
All right, everyone. This is your last chance. Vote for caprese salad sticks. I don't know why. I like caprese salads. But I can't imagine that, like, that it's any good kind of like, in stick format. I guess it depends what kind of stick. I mean, a breadstick flavored like caprese salad.
I told you it would be basil and balsamic vinegar.
That's kind of disappointing. You lose the whole mozzarella flavor.
Anything trying to be flavored like caprese salad that's not caprese salad is disappointing.
So basically, it's like a breadstick just dipped in balsamic vinegar.
With basil.
Yeah, basil's not really an overpowering thing, so chances are probably just.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
No, it isn't.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Basil is kind of it's not an overpowering flavor.
It is.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, to you maybe, but no. I mean, enough basil maybe, but like just one thing of basil on a tomato. Oh, and don't forget the tomato flavor.
Like flavored tomato, I like tomato.
Well, yeah, but if you're gonna do a caprese salad stick, it has to taste like all parts of the caprese salad. Otherwise,
why would you want a stick that tastes like tomato? Why not eat a fucking tomato?
Okay, I understand where you're going with this. I'm not saying I would buy caprese salad
Why
sticks.
would you inflict caprese salad sticks on anyone?
I'm just gonna quietly eat this. I'm doing the caprese salad stick. People have donated for it. I'm here for it.
Trying to find them online, I can't find them.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like something that normal places make.
I got this in like a Tokyo Treat Japanese snack box. I should reference.
Oh, okay.
Japan, where they can take anything and whittle it down to stick form.
Are you sure it's caprese salad then? If you got it in Tokyo?
Nope, but the picture is of a caprese salad.
Oh
It's
my god, that would be
mozzarella,
great.
tomato, and basil. So I don't know what else it would be.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Yesterday, I could have gotten you a box, Rick.
This doesn't taste like caprese salad. It doesn't taste bad. It just doesn't taste in any way like caprese salad.
Here, too bad he doesn't have these there.
This does not surprise me in the least.
It's not bad. All right. Did we have anything else that people had voted for me to eat? While we're here doing the stream, I'm going to go ahead and get Fool's Errand loaded up since y'all did find that, and that was the fun thing. I'm just going to put it on my blog since I don't have a whole dedicated section for it, so it'll just go there for when people want to find it. Yeah, Copy. All right. Did we have anything else for me to eat? Stream prize. Shingles stream prize. Boop. Published. And putting this here. Sounds like we have a big dog.
He's standing in the corner barking at it because I won't get up and get one of his toys that's stuck in it.
That's a dog, all right.
Yeah, so he's busy throwing a temper tantrum.
All right. We did the salad stick. Yep. Let's see. Was there any in here that I was particularly curious about? You know what? I'm going to try Monster Stamp, because I don't know what Monster Stamp can possibly be.
Monster Stamp?
This one actually has a name on it. It does say the words Monster Stamp. They're the only words in English. Oh. Yeah, the avocado cream cheese chips are not going to be cheap. I'm not looking forward to those. Oh, $5 for mango Kit Kat. I'll do that one. I think I also have a pumpkin pie Kit Kat around here somewhere. I hope I have a pumpkin pie Kit Kat around here somewhere because I don't think mango's going to be good. All right.
I disagree. Mango Kit Kat sounds really good.
Monster Stamp. Let's see how this one goes.
Too much silence. Did Monster Stamp kill you?
Sorry, I forgot to mute through my chewing. That's pretty good, actually. That's kind of like Smarties, like a big weird ass Smarties. Oh, apparently I'm supposed to lick them and use them as stamps. Well, I didn't. Fight the power. You gotta fight the power that be. Mango Kit Kat.
So use it as a stamp, like what? Like mail a letter with it?
I was about to say, you can't put ink on a letter and send it, and then I stopped for a moment and was like, oh. No, that literally was one of my jobs. Fun fact, all of the postage that you get that has, American postage you get that has just the ink impressions on it, it's like 2 companies when last I was there like a decade ago, but like only 2 companies that really run that whole business. All right, Mango Kit Kat.
Monster Stamp is trying to horn in on their action.
Well, that's not very good. I like a mango. I like a Kit Kat. Chocolate mango is not a thing for me. Maybe that's good, but. Oh, god damn it. $20 for the avocado cream cheese chips is definitely worth the cream cheese chip. Let's see. Dro Talks audiobook said $10 just to say thanks for the work. Titan's arc, even though fictional, helped me get over myself and repair the relationship with my oldest son. Oh, well, thank you, man. I'm very glad the story was able to help you. All right. Avocado. Oh, God, the smell. Oh, John Judkins asked if we'll do this again. I think we might have one or more live reading before the Indiegogo is done. It won't be me who does it. This is the only one that I was able to fit in before our time ran out. Because we only have 4 days left. So, while I'm not going to say that someone else might not do one, I will not be able to do one before we are out of opportunity there. So, let's see what avocado cream cheese tastes like. You know what? That one's... I was about to say you really only get the avocado, and at the end I didn't get cream cheese, but I got bugles. These taste like avocado bugles, which I'm not mad at, to be frank.
It's interesting.
Yeah, kind of into it. All right, well that was a fun one. All right, y'all. I think that is going to do it for our live stream. Thank everybody so much for coming out, whether you donated, watched, spread the word, whatever way you supported it. Hope you know we appreciated it. We are
One final tally from the Indiegogo. It is up to 25,181.
woo!
Meaning via the Indiegogo alone, tonight was $4,000.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
God damn!
Yeah.
I did not realize we had done that much. Wow.
Good job, man.
That's incredible. Thank y'all so much. That is all y'all, and please know we appreciate it. We're going to put it to work, making the best movie we can to keep entertaining everybody. Yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We will be around, and if you're new to Authors and Dragons, we do fun stuff. There's a lot of interesting content on here. Steve Wetherill and I have been doing a weekly video game stream for about a year, and you can go listen to us talk shop, shoot shit in general, fuck our way through video games pretty badly. We're really not good at them. I think that is pretty much everything. And again, once more, thank y'all, and I will catch y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.